the future martial arts man. Captain Peng Huayu said, "It's only the 25th floor, but they dare to attack the Star Generals?" Yao Yu replied, "It's a collective rebellion. We're on our way to report it to the headquarters. We'll be going now. Captain Hong Yu, you should take precautions." Captain Peng Huayu then addressed Lu Sheng. "Sir, the captain of the Red Snail team is rather cautious. What if we—" Lu Sheng, casually killing a beast, responded, "I know, don't worry about it. We don't have to go below the 25th floor this time. Even if we go deep within the spatial crack, considering the fact that I brought you here, I can take you out just the same." Captain Peng Huayu replied, "Yes." Lu Sheng moved forward, effortlessly killing the beast ahead, shocking Captain Peng Huayu and the team in the background. They all looked on in amazement. As they reached the 25th floor, Lu Sheng said, "We have finally reached the 25th floor. With my current power, as long as we don't encounter a legendary rank 9 otherworldly beast, there's no danger in sight. I remember the dense silver mine noted in the records." In his notebook, he found the cave underlayer map and encircled the dense silver mine. He said, "It's near." Concentrating, Lu Sheng used his psychic power to scan the area, saying, "The 25th floor, 26th floor, 27th floor, 28th floor, 29th floor, 30th floor. Finally, he located the dense silver and exclaimed, "Found you." He started running, instructing, "Follow me closely." An orange-haired man called out, "Sir, wait for us." A bald man remarked, "Didn't he just say he doesn't need to go lower?" They hurried through the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th floors, finally arriving at the 30th floor. Captain Peng Huayu watched Lu Sheng's swift pace, feeling dark energy around them, and instructed the others, "We must stay as close to Sir as possible. Don't scatter." Lu Sheng suddenly stopped, spotting a huge deposit of dense silver. He quickly dispatched an otherworldly beast, using his power intensely to push the beast into the dense silver, causing it to crack. Lu Sheng instructed, "Go and collect the marrow fluid," and threw the beast aside. The team responded, "Yes," and began collecting. The bald man exclaimed, "Sir, it's dense silver. We're going to be rich." Lu Sheng responded, "Oh, is that so? Let's see." The team got excited, confirming, "It's really dense silver, and it's very pure." Captain Peng Huayu held a piece of dense silver, noting, "The mineral vein must be considerable in size." The bald man exclaimed, "We're rich." "Ha ha ha ha." Thinking to himself, "It's so much. It's enough to drastically improve the equipment of the entire team." An older member, Sasuke, said, "Get the rank 7 otherworldly marrow fluid and drink it up." "Aha. I can finally get the rank 7 dense gold shield I've been eyeing for so long." The orange-haired man added, "I can exchange them for a rank 7 combat suit." The bald man became enthusiastic, saying, "What?" "Yes." Captain Peng Huayu suddenly shouted at them, "Shut up." The bald man asked, "Captain, what's up with you?" He looked at Lu Sheng, realizing his mistake, and quickly apologized. I didn't mean it. Forgive me," slapping himself and begging, "Sir, that wasn't what I meant." The team hastily returned the dense silver, pleading, "Please forgive us." Captain Peng Huayu stated, "We have done nothing to help, and Sir was the one to discover the dense silver. All the harvests are naturally his." The bald man agreed, "It's totally reasonable." Lu Sheng replied, "Being greedy is normal, I get it." They responded, "We don't dare," and knelt on the ground saying, "Thank you for understanding, sir. No, I mean forgive us." Lu Sheng charged his energy, and Captain Peng Huayu pleaded, "Sir, don't." Lu Sheng used his psychic energy to slice the dense silver into cubes and made them levitate. He then asked, "Why are you still standing still? Come and help move this." All of them, shocked, quickly complied. "Ah, yes." Captain Peng Huayu remarked, "Fortunately, Sir was tolerant with us and didn't get mad. Otherwise, I don't know what the consequences would have been." They began harvesting the dense silver cubes. The bald man commented, "It's so strange, not to mention that I followed Sir here." Sasuke added, "If it wasn't for Sir being here, I might have taken a little bit of the dense silver even if I didn't deserve it. Just now, I felt as if I was possessed by a ghost. All those shameless things came out of my mouth." Captain Peng Huayu said, "Stop talking, get the job done." The bald guy said yes, and he said, "Damn it. If only those 2 bags weren't given to the Red Snail team, who knows how much dense silver I could store in there." "Right. You don't owe them a thing." "Damn it," Lu Sheng said to himself. "That's odd. They are known to be relatively close with the Red Snail team. Now, The two of them seemed to have completely forgotten about their previous generous and warm-hearted ways. That selfishness and harshness is so different from before, and they weren't like that before reaching the 30th floor. Looks like this black fog has its mysteries. Suddenly they saw footprints at the ground. Luang and Captain Pang Huayu was confused and was on alert. And they hear someone saying, is.food.it.is.food.it.is.food. Luang said to himself, are these the madmen that Hongyu spoke of? The ones who cultivate in secret within the spatial crack? And it continues to say, is.food. And he continues to tell himself not to mention this aura. It's truly wicked. As he sensed them all walking towards them, Luang said, come on then, here's the one-time solution. It's much better than finding you one by one on the way back. That would be so annoying. The dense silver was piled up. Captain Pang Huayu helped pack it, and they all said, finally, we're almost done. Luang remarked, there's so much more. Thank you for helping out, everyone. After we leave this place, I'll give you your 10%. The bald man exclaimed, whoa. Thank you, sir. Captain Pang Huayu said, thank you, sir, but we don't deserve this reward, so there's no need to give us anything. Luang insisted, I don't care whether you think you deserve it or not. Since I'm willing to offer it, you'll have to accept. They all responded, yes, thank you, sir. Luang thought to himself, when you're weak, your anger results in nothing. But when you're powerful, even your good intentions can't be turned down. Suddenly, Captain Pang Huayu sensed something and shouted, sir, enemies. Luang responded calmly, I know, I was waiting for them. Eyes watched them from the dark. Suddenly, a group emerged, and one of them sneered, ugh, new.fresh.meat. The bald man shouted, it's them. They're martial masters. Sasuke questioned, why did they show up here? Captain Pang Huayu assessed, judging by their appearance, they must be the rumored martial arts madmen. They were probably the ones who attacked the Red Snail team and caused them to lose contact. Damn it, those cannibalistic monsters usually act alone. Since when do they form groups? Luang speculated. There's only one possible reason why. Someone capable of commanding them has emerged among their ranks. A king, Captain Pang Huayu exclaimed. What? A king? Someone began to clap slowly. He said, you're smart and strong. You must be the most delicious one. I'll become stronger after devouring you. A madman said, Luang, this boy is yours, but the rest are for us. Luang responded, of course I only eat the best. Captain Pang Huayu, shocked, asked, Luang? The late Eastern Star? Didn't you perish over 10 years ago? Luang inquired, do you know him? Captain Pang Huayu explained, sir, you arrived late, so there are things you aren't aware of. Back then, only the top talents of the Eastern Military Division were called Eastern Stars. Luang was ranked third in the overall ranking list, with 13 stars of combat power. But more than 10 years ago, he mysteriously vanished during a surge suppression mission in a spatial crack. Everyone thought he was dead. Who would have thought he's been using the flesh of his fellow masters to survive all this time? The bald man panicked. What? If he had 13 stars of combat power more than 10 years ago, how scary would he be now? Sir only has 12.5 stars. Are we doomed? Captain Pang Huayu snapped. Shut up. He's not received the proper resources for over 10 years. It's possible that his power has declined with time. He might not be at his peak anymore. Luang laughed. Ha ha ha, so funny. Are you trying to make me laugh? Resources? Aren't my resources already available? Now, I'm not interested in talking with my food. It's almost time for dinner. You should be thanking me for letting you see me in this form, humans. A tornado formed, and they all felt the intense winds while Luang stood silently. Luang suddenly grew horns and laughed. Captain Pang Huayu gasped, ah, what is this? Luang declared, power is surging out. Yes, that's the feeling. That Eastern Star title. It was a long time ago. Back then, I was as weak as an ant. But because of the spatial crack surge, I fell deep inside and in my despair received divine guidance. Luang asked, divine? What do you mean? Luang explained, the core of martial arts is to make yourself stronger through various means. He's right. Since martial artists can become stronger by feeding on otherworldly beasts, then feeding on other martial artists must be even better martial arts food. Luang asked, he? Who's that? Luang laughed and said, "Ha ha ha. Eastern Star? I'm now the Eastern Sun, wicked sun. One day, my brilliance will escape this spatial crack and cover the Earth's surface." Lu Sheng said, "I've asked you twice now, are you deaf?" "Ah, it looks like you didn't hear a word. Whatever, I'll go down and find him myself then." Lu Moying said, "What on earth is this pressure?" Suddenly, green liquid splattered everywhere as Lu Sheng cut Lu Moying into tiny pieces, causing him to explode. Lu Sheng asked, "If you're the sun, then what does that make me?" A monster was shocked and said, "What?" "This," Lu Sheng said, "so weak, you can't even handle one attack." Captain Pang Huayu thought to herself, the man who was previously named the Eastern Star, known for his power that exceeded 13 stars, was so easily defeated. It was as if he was killing a mere fly. "How strong is Sir actually?" The monster suddenly ran and shouted, "Run! Run quickly!" Lu Sheng raised his hand and made a chopping motion. Immediately, all of the monsters were decapitated and mutilated in an instant. The bald guy said, "This is 50. The so-called 12 stars of combat power is simply what he wants the world to see." Captain Pang Huayu thought to herself, "He's able to handle all of them on his own. This time our Eastern Military Division will be on top of the competition." Lu Sheng said, "The floor is almost cleared, so please wait here for a bit." Captain Pang Huayu was shocked and said, "Ah, sir." As Lu Sheng jumped away and moved fast, Lu Sheng thought to himself, what is the divine, and what's the identity of the one he called he? A few moments later, at the spatial crack steps, Lu Sheng stopped and said, "It's so quiet here, a bit too quiet even. The black fog is so dense, it will be hard to explore this region with rank 7 or even rank 8 psychic energy. If someone weaker came here, wouldn't they be left completely blind? Should I just force my way in like that?" A bright light shone. Lu Sheng thought to himself, "Huh?" And he was transported to another place. Suddenly, a beautiful foot with golden anklets touched the water. Lu Sheng thought to himself, "What? This is?" And he was in awe. He continued thinking, "An otherworldly being? Interesting. There's an intellectual life form here, and it looks like she is curious about me as well? Does she like humans?" He began to get closer to her and said, "Is that love across species?" as he touched her hand. Suddenly, he felt something in his temple and his vision got blurry. The beautiful woman became an ugly beast. She said, "Don't be afraid. Come, don't mind my looks. Come quickly. Here resides everything you desire. Yes, that's it. Come, join me. Adore me. Come into my arms, my dear child." She showed him her tongue. Lu Sheng suddenly charged his aura in his palm and instantly cut the beast as she shouted, "Ah!" Lu Sheng said, "Such a scary creature you are, but I tricked you and you believed me." "Take that," she said. "I despise disobedient children. Kill, kill, I'll kill you, catch him." "Ah!" In another scene, Captain Peng Huayu said, "It's really Lu Moying." His identification is still here, as the others picked up the loot. The orange-haired guy said, "This is the Qiaoyu Martial School's master." The bald guy said, "This is Thunder Martial School's Hong Feng. Their headmaster is here." Captain Peng Huayu said, "Keep their identification and we'll report this matter upon our return. Nearly 30 masters have died in one go. This is probably the largest bloodshed among masters in these recent few years." The bald guy said, "They're all dead from a long time. They simply died once again. We can't call them good people." Captain Peng Huayu said, "Yes, you're right." Suddenly, Lu Sheng arrived. Captain Peng Huayu said, "Sir, you're back." Lu Sheng said, "Quick, pack up. We're leaving the spatial crack immediately. And Hong Yu, find a way to notify the other teams in the spatial crack. Tell them to escape quickly." Captain Peng Huayu said, "Sir, what's going on?" Lu Sheng said, "Nothing. It's just that I angered some little creatures within the spatial crack by accident. They're now rioting." The creatures ran towards them, and they heard voices shouting in the cave, "Kill! Kill them! Kill!" repeatedly. As they ran away, Lu Sheng said, "Quickly." They ran even faster and jumped towards the exit. Lu Sheng thought to himself, 3 big bags of dense silver. We're finally back on the surface. Looking down the hole, Lu Sheng said, "Whoa! Fortunately for us, they can't climb up." Captain Peng Huayu said, "Sir, what did you do that could cause a huge surge? It's good that the beasts were too many. If they grouped up properly, they could greatly affect us." Lu Sheng said, "It's nothing, no need to worry. Let's transport the goods to the base." The others, happy carrying the bags, said, yes. They walked away with smiles on their faces, saying, we're going back. Luang thought to himself, that bug actually tried to trick me. I would be angry right now too. But one day, I'll make sure that bug crawls in front of me, and I'll give it a nice uppercut. I guess it'll get even angrier then, right? In a different scene at the Eastern Military Division headquarters, the people were shocked and said, heavens, Tiger Scorpion team, you're so lucky. You actually discovered a dense silver mine so quickly? A person with a magnifying glass looked at the dense silver and said, it is not only top quality extraordinary, but its purity is also a fortune. The three of them laughed in sync and said, it is. Yao Yu said, it's not just luck. Didn't you see the first vehicle's license plate? DZ0002, the vehicle of the first grade expert. An old guy was so shocked that his eyes went white. Another said, what? Could it be that unknown young man is the expert? Yao Yu said, yes, we all got it wrong. That was the real boss. If only I held onto his leg, I could also win. Yao Yu was in sorrow as his snot and tears formed. The bald guy said, although Sir Lu displays his power as if it's only 12.5 stars, those stars are not his full power. We estimate that Sir has more than 20 stars. Yao Yu and his snail team were shocked and said, huh? 5 minutes later at Lu Sheng's residence, Lu Sheng said to them, take care of the goods from the spatial crack. When it's all done, you'll get your 10% as agreed. You can go now. Captain Pang Huayu saluted and said, yes, sir. At Lu Sheng's bedroom, Lu Sheng said, let's see what's in this abyss and about that monster. He pressed the spatial crack information. Suddenly, multiple pieces of information appeared, and he said, ah, so it's connected to the second battlefield. The abyss is a space split that forms when two worlds overlap and collide. These splits can be different. If the formation is relatively complete, then a gray zone will appear. That zone will be large enough to accommodate otherworldly masters. The information said, gray zone, second battlefield. Two types of beings of different levels, spaces, or even universes, for some reason they unexpectedly overlay and collide. That is, the source of the otherworldly beast invasion? But it's obvious that the otherworldly beast world is much more powerful than ours. They can be seen in the power gap between us. As a result, the beasts can easily invade our world. On the contrary, it's so hard for us to reach other worlds. No wonder I absorbed the memories of so many zombies. There are a small number of times when rank 10 or rank 11 masters have taken action, and masters of the Eastern Evil Sun's level have only been heard of. So they all went to the second battlefield to fight against the monsters that came from another world. So many strong men have gone to the battlefield one after another, with the beasts also changing with time. That's the big struggle for the next 10,000 years of history, the tension between the two civilizations reaching its peak, that it ends up depending on the might of their best fighters, and in the end, of course, we lose. That's why we have been trying to give birth to a rank 12 through Project Spark. If rank 12 is reached, would we have a chance to win this time, or maybe maintain our advantage? To estimate the result is a hard task, but to enter the second battlefield, you must be at least rank 10. I'm currently in year 300 MC. The second battlefield hasn't opened yet. It's not that related to me. No, if I reach rank 11, even rank 12, could the abyss be annihilated, killing those top fighters one by one, and crushing them all? He began to glow in gold as his aura burst like a nuclear bomb and shot at the dream space and beamed in the sky. Lu Sheng said, my martial arts broke through. Is this because of my goal becoming clear? Looks like it's feasible. I must do my best to reach rank 12 as soon as possible. I'll enter the second battlefield, fight into the other world, and end this catastrophe right from its source. At the last phase, Lu Sheng said, I won't let this war drag on for 10,000 years. The catastrophe which caused the civilization to collapse, now in 300 MC, I'll put an end to it. At Lu Sheng's mansion, Butler Wang and Li Dai the maid walked together. Lu Sheng asked, what's going on? Butler Wang responded, sir, and then looked at Li Dai. He continued, this is a special gift, Ling Chuan's Dragonwell green tea. Please try it. Lu Sheng immediately drank the tea and thought to himself, oh, it actually contains an odd energy. Interesting. I didn't think I had progressed so far that someone would send me such tea. Suddenly, Butler Wang clapped and said, sir, the rank 7 weapon you requested to be modified last time has been completed. Please, take a look. Lu Sheng used his power and said, Oh, is it done so quickly? He retrieved it from the air. The spear sparkled, and he remarked, "It's really good. It's not just a simple rank 7. It feels closer to rank 8. A satisfactory result." Lu Shang then said, "I brought back a lot of silver with me this time. Please help me make another weapon. I'll provide you with the design later." Butler Wang replied, "Yes, sir." Lu Shang continued, "Li Dai, please see Butler Wang off. I'm going to invite some friends later. Please prepare some food and wine." Li Dai said, "Yes, sir," and they both left the room. As they walked, Butler Wang said to Li Dai, "Your fortune is good. You got to meet someone like sir." Li Dai blushed and responded, "Yes, sir." Butler Wang walked away, saying, "Work hard and don't let sir down. You may have a chance to succeed in the future." As Li Dai blushed and felt a sudden wetness, she noticed someone behind her laughing. The voice said, "Hey, hey. Li Dai, don't be scared. I'm your parents' old comrade in arms. I held you in my arms when you were little. Are you working for Lu Sheng? Are you interested in a little talk with me?" Li Di felt lost and was silent, doubting the hooded man, but eventually said, "Okay," as she began to sweat. In a different scene, at the Eastern Third War Zone airport, Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu waited. Suddenly, Heng Yu looked her up and down and said, "Oh, a beauty." He eyed her chest and thought to himself, "The aura, she's just my type." Good. He then asked, "Hey, which war zone are you from? Which division?" Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu glanced at her stars and responded, "A general of 7 stars. She then saluted and said, "Senior Colonel Qing Shu, under the command of Lieutenant General Yu Feiyi of the 1182nd Division of the 9th War Zone." "Greetings, General." He replied, "Yu Feiyi, I don't know him, but I know your 9th War Zone General. Come have dinner with me tonight, and bring your general as well." Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu looked away and said, "Forgive me, sir. I'm waiting for someone. I have plans for tonight." He persisted, "Skip it." Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu responded, "I can't. He would be very angry if I missed it." He then showed off his aura and said, "Then let him come along. I'm very interested in meeting someone in the 3rd War Zone who can stir up more trouble than me." Suddenly, someone placed a hand on his shoulder and laughed, saying, "Ha ha ha ha, sure, let me show you." Heng Yu was shocked and asked, "Who are you?" The white-haired man replied, "Eastern Military Division General." "Is that all you have?" Heng Yu screamed like a girl, "Ah!" as he was thrown against the wall. The white-haired man eared, "You still want to seduce my little sister?" "Ha, waste. As a big brother, I don't agree." Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu said, "Big brother." His demeanor softened and he said, "Oh, little sister, I haven't seen you in a long time. I didn't expect you would become even prettier." Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu said, "Since you're here, I'll head back." He chuckled and said, "You're the same as ever, keeping people at a distance, ha ha ha, fine. Go back and tell all of your Eastern Military Division masters that I, Dong Shengji, am coming." In another scene at the pub, it was lively as Lu Sheng and Major Qin Shaojun sat at the bar. Lu Sheng asked Major Qin Shaojun, "Qing Shu went to the 3rd War Zone to pick someone up?" Major Qin Shaojun replied, "Yes, so unfortunate." Lu Sheng pondered, Qing Shu, does she have a friend there so much that she had to go pick that person up?" Major Qin Shaojun said to the waitress, "Bring us more hell to pay," and pointed at Lu Sheng. The waitress happily replied, "Okay." Qin Shaojun continued, "It's not a friend but a relative. It's her half-brother, Dong Shenyi. He's a terrifying martial arts talent, just like you. He's the most promising disciple of the martial saint. We could even call him the successor." Lu Sheng responded, "Is that so? Then, he's amazing." Qin Shaojun observed, "Judging by your reaction, you don't seem to think so." Lu Sheng asked, "Is it that obvious?" Qin Shaojun leaned in. "Hey, I know you've reached 12 stars of combat power already, and you're very talented and proud of it. But let me tell you, you have to stay alert. Dong Shengyi is not just any ordinary person. The martial saint's successor is no joke. And not only that, Dong Qing Shu has another big brother named Dong Potian, who's ranked first in the Central Military Division star ranking. His combat power is at 27 stars, and he's even nicknamed the Central Eastern Emperor. That's more than twice your combat power. Can you imagine it?" Lu Sheng mused. "So, Instructor Dong's big brother is the Central Eastern Emperor?" Suddenly, Qin Shaojun grabbed Lu Sheng's shoulders and exclaimed, "Oh no! Are you feeling nervous, brother? If you want to date Dong Qing Shu, you must pass the tests of her brothers. Your road won't be smooth, you must be careful." Lu Sheng retorted. Ah, who said I want to date her? Qin Shaojun smirked. Are you still trying to fool me? You're an adult now, why are you hiding? Dong Qing Shu doesn't hide it from me anymore. Lu Sheng quickly asked, What did she tell you? Qin Shaojun teased, why so anxious? You've been exposed. Ah, Lu Sheng, I knew it. You're truly a strong martial artist, but when it comes to love, you're a greenhorn. I can see through you in an instant. Lu Sheng pressed, right, so what did Instructor Dong admit to you? Qin Shaojun grinned, hey, what would you like it to be? Okay, I won't tease you any longer. She's interested in you. But, he pointed a finger at Lu Sheng. Boy, she must have wanted to speak to you about it the last time she asked you out for dinner. But you actually stood her up. You're terrific, Lu Sheng thought to himself in shock. Ah, so that's IAT. Qin Shaojun poured another glass of cheap table wine. However, don't worry. I know her very well. It's usually hard for her to change her mind once she's decided on something. That won't stop her. As I already said, the issue is her brothers, Dong Shenyi and Dong Potian. He handed Lu Sheng the glass. Suddenly, a person entered the pub and exclaimed, Dong Shenyi is incredibly strong. On the first day after arriving at our Eastern Military Division, he already defeated Hengyu, who's ranked first on the Star General ranking, and Ji Shun, who's second. His bald friend added, with both of them down. Who else can be his equal? The person continued, yes. They say he's returned with the mission to fight his way through the 4 major military divisions and prove he's the best martial artist. That's his path to becoming a saint. His bald friend scoffed. Martial saint would be an exaggeration. There are many masters besides him. There must be someone who can deal with him, ha? Qin Shaojun chimed in. Has Dong Shenyi already made his move? And with the Eastern competition coming up, this guy is arrogant enough to come and challenge us at such a moment. The martial saint's name holds power. The division probably can't do anything to him. He then took a sip of his strong drink. Qin Shaojun turned to Lu Sheng. You have to be careful. Dong Shenyi claims that he has the power to defeat the Eastern Masters, and according to the ranking, it's your turn soon. And with your connection to Dong Qing Shu, he'll definitely target you. Lu Sheng frowned. What connection is there? Qin Shaojun raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Do you want Dong Qing Shu to speak up for you so Dong Shenyi doesn't target you? Lu Sheng firmly replied, Of course not. I was thinking that Dong Shenyi came to the military division because he wants to take this chance to challenge the Eastern Masters and improve his own martial arts. That's important for his future development on his path to becoming a martial saint. And he's Dong Qing Shu's big brother, so a brother-in-law. Lu Sheng trailed off. Major Qin Shaojun responded, Oh, so what? Lu Sheng explained, If he meets me and I defeat him, he would be left broken before he could reach his potential, and his chances of becoming a martial saint would be shattered. Dong Shenyi will regard me as his mortal enemy. It will be hard for Instructor Dong to be caught between the two of us. In the future, Dong Potian might also face the same situation. Who knows, our relationship might be strained from then on. Ah, I'm conflicted. Major Qin Shaojun, confused, asked, What? Lu Sheng replied, What? Qin Shaojun blushed and closed his mouth. Damn, when it comes to showing off, you're the best, Lu Sheng. You got me. Lu Sheng, sweating, insisted, I'm serious. Qin Shaojun gave him a thumbs up and said, Yes, I get it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the military district, something exploded, and Dong Shenyi brushed off the dust on his shoulder. Ha! So weak. Is that all you've got? He scoffed. His opponents, struggling to recover, muttered, So strong. He's too strong. All from the top 10 were defeated. Now, what do we do? Suddenly, Dong Shenyi casually walked toward Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu. Dong Qing Shu, he greeted her. She responded, Dong Shenyi. Suddenly, a girl interjected, I'm here too. Senior brother Dong has been hiding his power for 20 years. Now that he's returned, he'll dominate everyone. Hello, big sister Qing Shu. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu acknowledged her. Miss Lin Wanwan, it must be important if you've arrived together with my big brother. Lin Wanwan quickly hugged Dong Qing Shu's arm. Of course, big sister Qing Shu. I'm doing a study on otherworldly beasts. I need a lot of samples for experimentation, so I followed senior brother Dong. I need your help, big sister Qing Shu. I want to ask for help from the Eastern Military Division, but I can't do it with just senior brother Dong. Dong Shenyi interjected, Are the Eastern Military Division's people useless? They have no skills. Except for that first one, Sun Haoyu, who had a tiny trace of skill at least. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu corrected him. It's Sun Hengyu. Dong Shenyi dismissed her. It's all the same. If they can't handle 3 moves from me, their name isn't important. Oh, by the way, Junior Sister Wanwan should have told you that we're here to go down the spatial crack. I need your help as a psychic mentalist. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu thought to herself while glancing at Lin Wanwan. Lin Wanwan. A very common name. But her mother's name is actually well known in the Dragon Nation, Marshal Saint Lin Zhengyu. She then asked them, which spatial crack are you going to? How many floors are you planning to explore? Dong Shenyi replied, it's of course the SS rank one, and the lower we go the better. The stronger the beast, the more valuable the sample is. Don't underestimate the importance of Wanwan's research. If it's successful, the entire martial arts world might undergo drastic changes, and my chances of becoming a martial saint might depend on her. Lin Wanwan blushed and said, Senior brother Dong is teasing me again. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu silently held her pendant and then said, fine. As long as you promise me one thing, I'll help you. Dong Shenyi said, a promise? Sure, whatever you want. Also, aren't you going to become a master soon anyway? I can. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu interrupted, it's not related to martial arts. Are you actually planning to defeat everyone in the ranking? Dong Shenyi replied, yes, although they're weaklings. Since I'm here, I might as well warm up a little. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu blushed and said, well, then you'll have to skip the 4th. Dong Shenyi asked, the 4th one, who is that? Right, it's Lu Sheng, the 9th War Zone's 12 stars. Suddenly, Dong Shenyi got close to Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu and said, is this what he gave you? Interesting, such pure martial arts will. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu became angry and said, give it back. Dong Shenyi tossed back the gift that Lu Sheng had given and said, heh, you still have the same bad temper as when you were a kid. You can't handle any jokes. But since you mentioned him, I'll do as you wish and skip him, not only in this competition. After I conquer all of the 5 military districts, he will have to withstand one of my attacks. Only then will I recognize him and stop interfering in your matter. The dreams of the weak never end, ha ha ha. Otherwise, even if you like him, it won't work out between you two, got it? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu fell nervously silent. Dong Shenyi said, I might not be so cruel, but Dong Potian is not that simple. Do you recall that Qing kid who lived next door when you were young? He wanted to pursue you but almost got beaten to death on the spot by Potian. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu was shocked. Dong Shenyi continued, think about this carefully. Not every big brother is as reasonable and nice as me. Suddenly, Miss Lin Wanwan held the hands of Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu and said, Big Sister Qing Shu, don't worry. I'll make sure senior brother lets him go. I won't let him get hurt. Dong Shenyi said, Lin Wanwan, if you fall in love one day, that boy will be in an even more pathetic situation. Your mother is a martial saint, and you have many senior brothers who are masters. She responded, my mom listens to me and my senior brothers listen to my mom, so there's no worry, right? Dong Shenyi said, let's go to the war zone. I will defeat all the masters of the Eastern Star General, ranking within 3 days. After that, get ready, as we'll enter the spatial crack. Lu Sheng, ha ha ha, I'll remember that name. In a different scene at the dream space, Lu Sheng said, I never realized that Dong Qing Shu had such important figures around her. One has 5 stars, and the other has 6. Dong Shenyi is a good talent, and Dong Potian is even a rank 9 martial saint. It's not rare to be stuck at rank 8 for hundreds of years, but still, he's a natural talent. A martial saint. There have been so many martial saints appearing in the past 10,000 years. The 3 martial saints in the Dragon Nation can't even be considered in the grand scheme of things, let alone one Dong Potian. Lu Sheng thought about Dong Qing Shu, and he dreamed in his dream space about her. He said, in this world, more than 90% of men wouldn't be able to say they don't have feelings for someone like her. When we're young, we all had crushes on teachers, whether they were women or men. The hormones and admiration quietly planted like a seed into our foolish hearts. Of course, most of such seeds die before they even break the surface. This subtle feeling fades away with time and vanishes like smoke as soon as you try to grasp it. Maybe. My feelings for her also began the moment I saw her suitors. Is it all fate? In that case, let's practice a bit, then earn some money after I wake up. If Dong Shenyi comes to find me, I can let him go after defeating him with just a few moves. I'm sure my act won't be exposed. I'll be seeing my future brother-in-law all the time, so I have to be respectful. 3 days later, Lu Sheng took out his new Chinese phone and said, Zhang Dan Dan, Yang Yuan. I won't bother her if she's no longer in the suitors section. On his new Chinese phone, he looked at the contacts of Zhang Dan Dan, He Ling Su, Yang Yuan, and He Ling Su, and he said, I haven't contacted her in a while. He sent a message to He Ling Su, and at 3:20 p.m., he sent the message saying, Are you here? She immediately replied within 2 seconds and said, I was just looking for you for a report. Ling Sheng Pharmaceutical has. Suddenly, a barrage of messages was sent by He Ling Su. Lu Sheng said, Damn it, she's bombarding me with information. Lu Sheng then said, Can you really marry someone like that? You're rushing to report work to me like this? Whatever, I can't continue this conversation. He Ling Su sent a Word file named Report. Lu Sheng replied to her saying, It's gotten cold recently. Please stay warm and don't overwork. Your health is more important. Lu Sheng said to himself, I should pay her some attention. He Ling Su's phone suddenly dinged and she said, Oh? What's going on? Lu Sheng actually told me something nice. She was shocked and felt weak in her legs. Lu Sheng said, Oh? Suddenly his new Chinese phone dinged. He looked at her messages and sighed. Ugh. Lu Sheng then said, By the way, it's been 3 days. Why hasn't Dong Shengyi shown up yet? He looked at an article about Dong Shengyi and said, He defeated all the masters of the Eastern Military Division, and except for Sun Hengyu, the leader of the Seven Sons, they all lost in one move. The article says, Dong Shengyi dominates the 9th war zone, an unstoppable force. Lu Sheng continued, He clearly fought all of them but didn't come to find me the 4th in the ranking. Interesting, it's on purpose. Are you letting me off the hook this time? It must have been Dong Qing Shu who did this. I didn't think I would be excused like that. Since you give me face for your little sister, I'll also give you face for my wife. If you don't provoke me, I won't beat you up. It's time to go to the spatial crack again. There are still a few days before the Eastern Military District competition. Not only does it cost money to build weapons, but in the future, I'll also need money for marriage, a dowry, a wife, and kids. Lu Sheng stood up and said, Li Dai, pack my stuff. I'm going on a mission. Li Di responded, Yes, sir. In another scene at the SS rank spatial crack, Miss Lin Wenwan landed on the ground and said, It's a bit cold here. Dong Shengyi remarked, If you had put more effort into your martial arts, you wouldn't feel the cold. Your good genes are wasted. Lin Wenwan replied, Not everyone wants to pursue the path of martial arts. I don't feel the cold anymore, and she laughed like a Buddha. Ha ha. Dong Shengyi said, It's similar to what that kid gave you, but its value is drastically different. The martial saint's will contained inside is incomparable. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu thought to herself, I feel like this one is much better. Dong Shengyi said, Let's get started. You'll help explore the abyss. No need to do anything else. I'll be dealing with all the beasts. Lin Wenwan shouted, Go, go, go. At the ES rank spatial crack, Lu Sheng said, Last time I visited during the night, and during the day, I can tell it's much less eerie and creepy now. Fear originates from being weak. When you're strong enough, all the monsters standing in front of you won't matter. One punch can defeat them all. I wonder if that being within the spatial crack is still there. Does it only exist in that AA rank spatial crack, or is it in every spatial crack? He jumped and continued while free-falling. It's not that I'm afraid. The last time I tested them, I could tell it's just a paper tiger. Even if you're stronger than me, you can't do anything about the distance. Otherwise, why would you try using such tricks to lure me in? As he dropped to the ground, he said, If I encounter you, I'll just retreat as soon as possible. I wonder what Dong Qing Shu is doing. In another scene, Dong Shengyi cut down a beast while Lin Wenwan cheered for him. Dong Shengyi said, Good. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu used her psychic energy to scan the whole area, saying, There are no other beasts around us. She used her skill, perception high visualization, and said, You can work at ease. Lin Wenwan put on her mask and gloves and said, Got it. She took a sample of the beast and remarked, Such a potent blood sample. It's a rank 7 indeed. The source of a warrior's force is their physique. Every part of it is considered their weapon. Unlike those trashy generals of yours, I practice with cold weapons to refine my skills. Dong Shengyi turned around showing off and said, If it didn't help achieve faster development in breaking the physical form, I wouldn't bother to use the blade. After all, the blood of these beasts is dirty. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, Help with the collection or just shut up. No one likes your show-off speeches. Dong Shenyi responded with a short laugh. Ha! Later, Dong Shenyi killed all the beasts in their path, and they reached the depths. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu thought to herself, actually, I should be happy having such a strong big brother. But thinking about what he wanted to do to Lu Sheng, I can't help but be irritated. This one could get hurt in here. Suddenly, a shard almost hit Dong Shenyi. Dong Shenyi exclaimed, Qing Shu, why didn't you warn me of this? If it wasn't for my intuition, I could have perished. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu replied, forgive me, I didn't see it. Besides, this was too small for you to die even if you got hit. You could get heavily injured at most. Dong Shenyi retorted, you, he sighed. Ha, you're unreasonable. Later, Dong Shenyi almost got hit again and again as he evaded the shards. He shouted, Dong Qing Shu, what on earth are you doing? Do you want to kill me? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said calmly, I didn't see it. Dong Shenyi, frustrated, said, nonsense, you're deliberately leading me into it. You forced me into this. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu responded with a hint of sarcasm. Oh? Is that so? I really didn't see it. Forgive me, I'll be more careful next time. Dong Shenyi muttered. Scary, truly scary. You're not even married yet, and you're already acting ridiculously? You dare betray your own big brother. What does that say about the future? Lin Wanwan tried to comfort Dong Shenyi, but he said, Wanwan, when you fall in love in the future, don't be like her. She's heartless. At the 34th floor, Dong Shenyi killed the beasts. A few moments later, he shouted, again! He took a light scratch and said, Dong Qing Shu, jokes must not go overboard. If you get me hurt, none of us will be able to leave safely. There are only rank 8 beasts here. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu, surprised, said, I didn't see it. Dong Shenyi, shocked, said, you. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu insisted, I truly didn't see it this time. This one just appeared out of nowhere. It didn't exist before. She looked at it closely and said, that is troublesome. She then asked, why are you looking at me like that? Lin Wanwan asked hesitantly, Big Sister Qing Shu, you said you really didn't see it this time. So, the earlier times. Dong Shenyi, in disbelief, said, my own sister, my biological little sister. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu snapped, stop with the nonsense, this is serious. New cracks are appearing, and that usually means a riot is about to happen. We'd better get out of here as soon as possible. A riot in an SS rank spatial crack is no joke. Lin Wanwan protested, but I still have to collect a few more samples. Dong Shenyi reassured her, it's fine, let's go on. Then addressing Dong Qing Shu, he said, I don't believe you at all. At the S-rank spatial crack, 35th floor, Lu Sheng boredly punched a beast lightly, and it was instantly killed. He said, considering that the Tiger Scorpion team has done this many times, it's a simple spatial crack. Suddenly he felt something and was shocked. But what's going on? I suddenly feel uneasy. The immortal cells are emitting a complex signal that says that I or someone dear to me is in danger. Lu Sheng stopped for a moment and said, this feeling, the signal from the immortal cells must mean something. This could only happen if something were affecting me or someone dear to me. But who is it? He then used his skill, psychic activation. Through martial arts cultivation, one can continuously tap into various unimaginable treasures within their physique. Predicting good and bad fortune is also a type of martial arts. Perceiving upcoming dangers can help one avoid entering dangerous places and facing great enemies head-on. Lu Sheng's third immortal cell greatly enhanced this skill. Lu Sheng said, no, it's too vague. I can't find out who it is specifically. The people most dear to me are my parents, little sister, Dong Qing Shu, Xin Xiaojun, Lu Qiming, Lin Zi. Do I have to check them one by one? The spatial crack signal is faint, and I can't make any calls. I can't check even if I wish to. I hope it's not too far away, or I won't be there on time. He moved forward, dashing quickly, and said, whatever. I'm so close to the dense gold mine, I have to act fast. Suddenly, he saw something and said, here you are. My psychic energy wasn't alarmed, which means there are very few wicked masters within the spatial crack. It looks like not every spatial crack is interlocked. He then became serious and attacked the walls. Suddenly, a monster emerged and he said, don't stand in my way. He immediately killed it, in a different scene, somewhere not far away. A bald guy said, what's that sound? There's a deep stench of blood coming. Is it an otherworldly beast or a person? His friend said, I don't know. Let's go look. He replied, yes. On the other side, the beast said, ugh, ugh. And the person said, why is Dong Shenyi so strong? His power isn't much higher than mine, but I couldn't even handle one of his moves. Just why? I should be happy that I can handle a rank 8 on my own, but instead I'm still annoyed. So annoying. Suddenly, a blast hit him, and he said, damn it, who's making so much noise? Don't you know I'm in a bad mood right now? Just wait for me, I'll show you. A few moments later, Lu Sheng said, this dense gold mine is quite the find. Suddenly, beasts approached Lu Sheng, and he said, the dense gold will attract beasts. I shouldn't get too wrapped up in it. After all, I have no helpers with me this time. I have to take it back slowly myself. Suddenly, he felt something and let go of his spear. He said, that feeling just now, it's the feeling of my heart suddenly tightening. It's someone dear to me. The feeling of imminent danger is so intense. I'm afraid it's too late. Whatever, I'll just take one piece. I don't want the rest anymore. Suddenly, Lu Sheng looked into the distance and the people exclaimed, oh my God! Dense gold. So much dense gold. One person said, this guy discovered a dense gold mine. Look, guys. The bald guy said, whoa. Lu Sheng thought to himself, it's like the homeless dogs following me home when I have takeout. He said, the rest are all yours. Now, get out of the way. The bald guy said, hee brother, you must be joking. The noise you made while mining was very loud. Don't you know dense gold attracts beasts? This commotion will attract the attention of many. How can we dig out the rest unless you give us the piece you have so we can all get out of here safely together? Ha ha ha, Lu. Sheng said, what did you say? I didn't hear you clearly. You want to say that again? Suddenly, the bald guy and his friends were shocked and said, ah. A person suddenly interjected, hey, just now, was your noise the one that attracted the beasts? The bald guy said, you're Ji Shun. Ji Shun said, do you know me? The bald guy replied, you must be joking, sir. You're ranked second in the Star General ranking. Who in the entire Eastern Military Division doesn't know you, sir? Lu Sheng said, then do you know me? Ji Shun said, you? Who are you? I don't know you and I don't need to know. I just know that you disturbed me just now and I'm in a bad mood. Either you leave all the dense gold behind, or you also stay behind. The bald guy said, let's watch Master Jishun's fight. Hopefully he will leave something for us. Lu Sheng suddenly dropped his dense gold. Jishun said, hey, boy, you know just what to do. Then I will. Lu Sheng said, you guys, is your martial arts intuition just for show? Why can't I feel it? His aura raged. Right now I am in a hurry and also agitated. So, why are you choosing this moment to provoke Mem? Jishun said. You! What on earth did you say? It doesn't matter since you wish to die so much. Lu Sheng said, I'll help with that. Suddenly, the bald guy shouted, the communication watch. His friend said, damn it, our communication watches as they exploded. Lu Sheng became serious, and Jishun said, what? What's this? As he stared at Lu Sheng. This. In a different scene, Lin Wanwan said, we're already more than 30 levels deep in the spatial crack, and the abyss has formed. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, no, we can't go any further. Lin Wanwan agreed, yes, you're right. I've almost collected all the samples I need as well. He looked at Dong Shenyi and added, it's time to go, right, senior brother Dong? But Dong Shenyi just stood there, unresponsive. Lin Wanwan repeated, senior brother Dong? Did you hear me? Hey, senior brother Dong? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingshu grabbed his shoulder and said, Dong Shenyi. Dong Shenyi snapped out of it and said, huh? What's up? I was just thinking about something and didn't pay attention. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingshu repeated, I said that we should go back now. New cracks have started to show up. Dong Shenyi responded, ha, but what we've seen so far proves that your idea of the surge is wrong. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingshu said, but I feel like something's wrong. I just checked. Dong Shenyi interrupted, it's fine, Dong Qingshu. Your mission is simply exploration. I'll take care of the beasts. Who do you think you are? Don't use your rank 6 skills to try to measure my limits, got it? Even if there's a surge in the spatial crack, I can get you out safely. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qingshu said, yes, I get it. Lin Wanwan added, senior brother Dong, you're too harsh. Big sister Qingzhu is just worried that we might be in danger. Dong Shenyi laughed. Ha ha. If she's really worried about me, she wouldn't have done what she did earlier. He continued, we still need some samples from rank 8 beasts. Let's keep going downward. We'll go back when we have enough samples. He then grabbed Lin Wanwan and said, I can feel it. The chance to break through to Martial Saint is right here. I must succeed. I must. Lin Wanwan, concerned, said, Senior Brother Dong, as he walked away. Lin Wanwan then turned to Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu and said, Big Sister Qing Shu, please don't get upset. Senior Brother Dong must not have meant that. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu replied, I'm not upset. I've known him for a long time. I don't take it to heart. I just feel like. She paused and asked, Wanwan, have you felt it? Lin Wanwan asked, What? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu continued, Dong Shenyi is giving off that weird feeling. For example, when we first entered the spatial crack, he wouldn't leave our side for more than 5 meters. Not to mention that we're on the 34th floor now, which is 10 times more dangerous than where we first entered. But now he's quite a distance away from us, and he didn't even notice we're not following him. So I speculate. Dong Shenyi is acting like he's all alone. He'll keep going downward and enter the depths of the spatial crack. In another scene, Lu Sheng grabbed Ji Shun's neck with his psychic power and made a hand gesture, slamming Ji Shun into the ground. The bald guy exclaimed, This is Ji Shun, both strong and invincible, ranked second in the cultivation of the military division. But he was beaten by this unknown, mysterious young man without even getting the chance to resist. We don't even know if he's still breathing. If this gets out, I'm afraid it would cause a sensation throughout the entire Eastern Military Division. Lu Sheng suddenly looked at them and said, Hey. The bald guy bowed down and pleaded, Sir, please don't attack. Let's talk this over nicely. Don't kill us. Please, we're wrong. Sir, it's our mistake. He thought to himself, it's over. He crushed my communication watch. If I die here, I'll be eaten by the beasts in less than half a day. Are we going to remain here forever? I don't want to die yet. Lu Sheng said, Whatever. I've been relieved of almost all my anger, and I'm not a cruel person. The bald guy exclaimed, Ah, we're saved. Thank you so much. Suddenly he felt something in his ear and said, Oh. Suddenly his ears fell off and he screamed like a little girl, Ah. Lu Sheng said, Remember my face, and next time make sure to fear me. Got it? The bald guy stammered, Yes. Certainly. He realized they all trembled on the ground. He then said, Your face? I will certainly remember it well. Suddenly he realized and said, Wait, I remember. He's Lu Sheng, ranked 4th in the Star General ranking, the top dark horse that recently appeared in the 9th War Zone. He has 12.5 stars of combat power, but this can't be. His friend exclaimed, No way. How can it only be that much? Dong Shenyi defeated Ji Shun in one move, and Lu Sheng needed one more too. No wonder Dong Shenyi challenged the top 10 and skipped him. They are actually of the same power level. Dong Shenyi's days of showing off his power in our Eastern Military Division are definitely at their end. That'll be fun to watch. The bald man said quickly, Go check if Ji Shun is dead or not. As Ji Shun lay embedded in the ground, his friend attended to him and said, That guy held back. His attack was a few inches off. The force passed near his heart. He's okay. Ji Shun opened his eyes and said, He paused for a moment, thinking, and then continued, Not dead? He thought of Lu Sheng and Dong Shenyi and asked, How can you be so strong? In a different scene, Lu Sheng said, I'm still soft-hearted. I can't be like Gu Xuan, killing people standing in my way like they're nothing. He suddenly stopped and said, That anxious feeling is getting stronger. I can't afford to delay this any longer. Who's in danger? Could it be? Meanwhile, in another scene, Lin Wanwan said, Senior Brother Dong, we can't go any further than this. She held on to Dong Shenyi's arm and said, It's too dangerous. Dong Shenyi suddenly pulled his arm back and said, Wanwan, move aside. Suddenly, Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu used her power to attack Dong Shenyi. He stood there silently, blocking all her attacks. Dong Shenyi looked at Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu with his infected eyes and said, Dong Qing Shu, do you really want to die? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu replied, Dong Shenyi, we should return now. Wanwan has already collected what she needs. Lin Wanwan said, Yes, Senior Brother Dong, we should go. I really don't want to stay here any longer. Dong Shenyi silently looked at Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu, then turned around and said, You go back first. I really want to see what's deep inside. He began to move forward and said, I feel something, calling Mei. Maybe it's what I've been looking for, the peak of martial Dao. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu shouted, Don't fall for such delusions, Dong Shenyi. There's no way such a thing would be down here. You're bewitched. Dong Shenyi said, there is, definitely. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, he is being influenced. Lin Wanwan asked, Senior Brother Dong, what should we do now? We can't return and call for help. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, wait here, I'll go wake him up. I must drag him out of this state. Lin Wanwan said, I'll help too. As they ran towards Dong Shenyi, Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu suddenly stopped and began to use her psychic powers. She cut the stalactites, blocking Dong Shenyi's path. Lin Wanwan suddenly blocked Dong Shenyi's way and said, Senior Brother Dong, if you don't return with us, I'll tell my mother about this. I'll tell her to punish you. Dong Shenyi passed by her, destroyed the obstructions in his path and said, whatever Lin Zhongju's Dao can do, it can only help her succeed. It can't help me. My Dao is ahead. Lin Wanwan said, it's over. Senior Brother Dong usually treats my mom with respect, but now he's insane enough to say such things. She turned to Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu and asked, are we just going to watch him go? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, there's another way. Lin Wanwan asked, oh? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu suddenly dashed forward and hugged Dong Shenyi. Big brother, you. As Dong Shenyi turned his head back, Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, big brother, don't you recognize me? Dong Shenyi said, I. As the virus's influence receded, Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, big brother, this spatial crack is full of dangers, and the Martial Saint's daughter, Wanwan, has completed her mission. We shouldn't go any further. Dong Shenyi suddenly shook his head. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, big brother, we need you to escort us back. Dong Shenyi said, damn it, what the hell happened? How did we get this far? Suddenly he remembered and said, yes. Earlier guys, it's as if I was being called from over there, as if there's something there I desperately want. Suddenly, Dong Shenyi unleashed his aura, and Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu was thrown back, shouting, ah, big brother, you. As she fell, a huge mouth appeared, and she said, ah. Suddenly, she was eaten whole by the huge beast with a crash. Lin Wanwan shouted, big sister Qing Shu. Dong Shenyi shouted as well, Dong Qing Shu. In another scene, Lu Sheng came out of the special cracks and felt something bad. Lu Sheng said, this is, just now, in that moment, something really important to me slipped away. This is bad. The immortal cells have gone quiet, no longer sending signals, which makes this even more dangerous. Get me a connection fast. He took out his new Chinese phone and called, Mom! Lu Sheng's mom answered, hello? Lu Sheng said, Mom, how are you and Dad? Just calling to check. A few moments later, Lu Sheng called, Chinga, you're in class, okay? Next, he called for Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu, but the phone said, sorry, the number you dialed. Lu Sheng said, it's her. But it's not unusual for her to have her phone off in the military zone. After all, signals often don't reach places like the abyss. It doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong. Suddenly, his phone rang with a beep. He answered, hello, Old Chin, what's up? Old Chin said, Lu Sheng, where are you? Lu Sheng replied, I. Old Chin interrupted, something happened. Get back here fast. Dong Qing Shu is in trouble. Lu Sheng was shocked and said, what happened? Take your time, explain. What? They went into a double S-rank abyss crack, and a riot broke out at the highest level. Level 10? Lu Sheng said, 7th war zone. I'm heading there right now. He then dashed forward, moving as fast as he could. Dong Qing Shu, wait for me. In another scene near the double S-rank abyss in the 7th war zone, an officer said, request reinforcements from the 6th and 8th war zones. A level 10 riot. Who knows how many casualties that will cause? We can't handle this on our own. How many teams are still in the abyss? The soldier replied on the radio, 8. That includes Lin Wanwan, the only daughter of the Martial Saint, and Dong Shenyi, his third disciple. They haven't returned yet. What do we do? The officer hesitated but then said, I'm giving you full authority over the 7th war zone. Gather all available generals and head to the abyss to find those two. If anything goes wrong, the wrath of a martial saint is something our military can't bear. The soldier responded, "Yes, sir." He then turned to the others and said, "Brothers, this mission might be a life and death struggle. Second team, start gathering the others. We'll go down first." Suddenly, a soldier pointed in a direction and said, "Report to the officer. Dong Shengyi's team is there." They saw Dong Shengyi and Lin Wanwan. The officer said, "It's really them. Hurry, help them out." As Dong Shengyi jumped towards the surface, the officer shouted, "Get them up here, fast!" Outside, the other teams gathered. Dong Shengyi, trembling in fear, panted heavily, while Lin Wanwan sobbed softly. The officer said, "Thank goodness you guys are okay. Otherwise, we would have had to charge into the rioting abyss ourselves, as expected of the martial saint's third disciple. Not only did you make it out safely, but you also brought back 3 general squads that were trapped in the abyss." Dong Shengyi suddenly knelt to the ground. Lin Wanwan said, "Brother Dong." The officer asked, "What's wrong?" Dong Shengyi, trembling, said, "It's me. It's my fault. It's my fault, she." A soldier whispered to the officer, who then said, "Apparently, someone they went in with didn't make it back." "What? Oh, why didn't you say something earlier?" The soldier replied, "Her identity is a bit special. She's Dong Shengyi's blood-related sister, a senior officer from the 9th War Zone." The officer thought to himself, "Hey, you gave me a scare. It's not like she was someone super important. If she died, she died." On the battlefield, people die all the time. Even 7th-level grandmasters fall, let alone a little officer. Dong Shengyi will probably get over it in a few days. After all, being a martial saint's disciple, this can be considered a test of character. Suddenly, Luang arrived, his presence as bright as the sun. The officer shielded his eyes and exclaimed, "Uwa!" Luang, his eyes shining, asked, "Where is Dong Shengyi?" He walked with the determination of someone heading into a boss fight. The officer wondered, who is this person? As an 11-star general, even just looking at him makes me feel terrified. Luang's aura raged as he shouted, "Dong Shengyi, get out here!" Dong Shengyi stopped trembling, shocked after hearing his name. Luang suddenly grabbed Dong Shengyi's shirt with his huge hands. Luang shouted, "Where is Dong Qing Shu?" Dong Shengyi stammered, "She," and began to sweat. Lin Wanwan, sobbing, said, "Sister Qing Shu." Luang let go of Dong Shengyi and said, "It was you. You took Dong Qing Shu in, but you couldn't bring her back out. This matter, you can't escape the blame, even if you're her brother." He gazed sternly at Dong Shengyi. Luang asked, "Dong Shengyi, didn't you want to pursue martial prowess? Wait until I bring Dong Qing Shu back." As he walked towards the spatial crack, he said with resolve in his voice, "I will personally end your martial path." The officer shouted to Luang, "Hey, are you looking to die? A level 10 riot in a double S rank abyss. Get back here." Dong Shengyi, sweating after sensing Luang's intense godly aura, muttered, "That guy." Luang suddenly moved faster, and Dong Shengyi continued, "Is Luang." Luang dashed quickly back into the spatial crack, when suddenly a huge monster appeared. Without hesitation, Luang continued toward the beast and shouted, "Get out!" His spear glowed golden as he added, "Of my way." With a swift motion, he cut through the monster like butter using his upgraded crystalline scarlet draconic spear. An officer, watching in shock, exclaimed, "He defeated a rank 8 monster in one move. Just who is he?" But Luang didn't stop. He pressed on. Another officer panicked. "The SS rank spatial crack has a surge of rank 10 monsters. There's nothing we can do but run. If you still dare to go, it's suicide. It's insane." Dong Shengyi, observing the scene, thought to himself, "I have seen many brave men die in battle, but no one has been this decisive." Without an ounce of hesitation, his mind wandered. Is he the one Dong Qing Shu likes? A few seconds later, on the 5th floor of the spatial crack, a monster extended its tongue toward Luang. Annoyed, Luang swiftly decapitated it as if slicing a carrot. "I checked her information and nothing has changed yet," Luang muttered. "That means she's trapped here, not dead, but that could change at any moment. I have to hurry." His voice filled with determination. "Dong Qing Shu, wait for me. I will definitely find you," he shouted as he sped through the crack. In another scene, deep inside the throat of a beast, Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu was drenched in saliva. Clutching the charm that Lu Sheng had given her, she slowly opened her eyes and whispered, "I'm still alive?" Looking at the glowing charm in her hand, she murmured, "I saved me. I remember being swallowed by a beast." She took a cautious step forward inside the belly of the beast, but tentacles quickly slithered toward her. "Is this inside its belly?" she asked aloud, only to suddenly feel a tentacle grab her foot. The creature's appendages wrapped around her curves and limbs, and she gasped in shock. "Ah!" The tentacles tightened their grip, pulling her in further. "Ah, there are tentacles in the beast's belly," she cried out, struggling to free herself. One of the tentacles opened up and hissed menacingly, attempting to pull her deeper. Qing Shu shouted, "Ah!" But just as the tentacle was about to overwhelm her, the charm Lu Sheng had given her shone brightly. The radiant light burned through the tentacles, causing them to hiss in pain. The charm formed a protective shield around her, breaking the tentacles' hold as they retreated. Panting, she remarked, "The pendant's psychic protection. It saved me from the beast's attacks, but its power has been greatly reduced. If they attack again, I won't survive." She glanced at the charm, watching as its light dimmed further. Looking down at her burning clothes, she cursed, "Damn it, that substance is corrosive." Her chest was barely covered, and her outfit was in tatters. Struggling to stand, she said, "I have to find a way out quickly." But then she noticed something alarming. "Ah, the air is thin inside this beast's belly. If I weren't a rank 6 cultivator, I would have suffocated by now. I can't stay here." Summoning her energy, she prepared a psychic gathering skill. "I must break through," she shouted as she launched an attack at the beast's belly. Smoke rose from the impact, but the belly remained intact. "Damn it," she shouted in frustration, attacking again. Again. But despite her relentless efforts, the beast's belly remained unscathed. Exhausted and pale, Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu staggered back in disbelief. "How is this possible?" she whispered, gasping for breath. Her strength waning, she murmured, "It looks like this is the end for Mem." She collapsed onto the ground, despair filling her voice. "Although I can accept my death and don't fear it, there's still just a little bit of sorrow." Suddenly, her phone slipped from her torn skirt and landed on the ground with a soft thud. She looked at it silently, then picked it up. Staring at the screen, her lips trembled. "Lu Sheng," she whispered as tears welled in her eyes. Opening her contacts, she stared at the picture of Lu Sheng and began to cry softly. Breathing heavily, she muttered, "The air slipped from her grasp, not enough." Her phone slipped from her grasp, and with a final weak whisper, she called out, "Lu Sheng," before collapsing completely. Just as Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu was about to text Lu Sheng instead of calling him in this emergency, the beast's tentacles began to reappear. As they approached, she whispered to herself, "A sorrow." The tentacles wrapped around her soft, thick thighs, pulling her up. They crept slowly toward her chest, arms, legs, neck, and thighs. She continued in defeat, "But maybe, in the next life, we could be side by side." The tentacles began to cover her face, leaving her feeling hopeless. Outside, within the spatial crack, a beast roared, only to be cut in half by Lu Sheng's upgraded crystalline scarlet draconic spear. Lu Sheng gritted his teeth, thinking, "The pendant I gave to Qing Shu holds my psychic energy, letting me find her location. But now, I can't sense it. I'm not close enough." His eyes narrowed with resolve. "Then, I'll turn this whole spatial crack upside down," he declared, facing the incoming horde of beasts alone. Suddenly, Lu Sheng stopped as ice and fire rained down around him. The beasts became confused, ensnared by the ice. With fire in his eyes, Lu Sheng growled, "Die, you beasts!" Activating his skill, slaughtering Dao, he swore, "I will massacre." With a single swing, he chopped through 3 beasts in front of him and mocked another. Too slow. His focus intensified as he thought, "I need to find her quickly." Lu Sheng squatted and then leaped forward, faster than any beast could comprehend. "The might of the divine whale," he shouted, hurling his upgraded spear. The weapon pierced through everything in its path, shattering floors as it descended through the spatial crack. Suddenly, he stopped and exclaimed, "She's right there." Leaping through the hole, he shouted, "Wait for me." He moved faster, plunging deeper past the 20th, then the 40th floor. His eyes glinted with fierce determination as he thought, "I'm getting close." Finally, he reached a solid wall, sensing her just beyond it. Without hesitation, he punched the wall with all his might, smashing through it. As the debris cleared, Lu Sheng stared at the scene before him. A massive beast with its tongue out and another, larger beast devouring its surroundings. Qing Shu's signal is weakening fast, Luang muttered, fear creeping into his voice. Could it be? He turned to the beast and shouted, "Damn you!" The beast charged a green beam from its mouth and fired it at him. Luang stood still, watching the beam approach. "So, it's you who hurt her," he muttered darkly, clenching his glowing golden fist. With one powerful punch, he deflected the beam, defying all logic. The beast, shocked, had its eyes go dark. "Is she inside your body?" Luang asked coldly. Using his palm like a blade, he sliced through the beast's belly as easily as cutting butter. "You bastard! Give her back to me," he shouted, cutting the beast in half. Inside the beast's belly, Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu was being drained by the tentacles. Her body had grown weak, but suddenly, a bright light shone upon her. Her eyes fluttered open as she whispered, "This light." Tears welled up as she murmured, "Is this the god of death come to take me?" The tentacles licked her chest and neck, tightening their hold. Suddenly, Luang's voice rang out in the distance, full of rage. "Qing Shu," he appeared, cutting down the tentacles wrapping around her body in one swift motion. Qing Shu, dazed, fell forward, but Luang was there to catch her. "Qing Shu," he whispered, relief flooding his voice. "I found you." She blushed, feeling the warmth of his arms, and stared up at him, whispering, "Lu." Her gaze softened as she said, "Luang?" Luang smiled gently. "Let's go back," he said. As they embraced, delicate cherry blossoms emerged from the remains of the beast's stomach, floating around them like a scene from a dream. An officer outside the spatial crack exclaimed, "That's bad. More and more beasts are coming out. It's not looking good. Everyone, retreat to the barracks." Luang, the 19-year-old general who killed Lu Moying, who had the combat power of at least 15 stars in one move, is a natural prodigy and a true monster. And he's from our Eastern Military Division. On the screen it read, Eastern Tar General, Star General ranking 4th. Combat power, 12.5 stars. Killed Lu Moying. Name, Luang, aged 19, role, Eastern Military Division, 9th War Zone. The officer continued, "Heavens, that's a rare sight. But he just launched a suicide mission against the SS-ranked spatial crack right before me, and I didn't stop him. That's bad. Can we figure out his whereabouts?" His friend replied, "No, he destroyed all communication devices within the spatial crack. And even if we found out where he is, in that crack and with that surge of monsters, I don't think it's a good idea to send people to rescue him." The officer cursed. "Damn it, what a shame." His friend echoed, "What a shame, damn it." The officer slammed the table, furious. "This trashy disciple of the Martial Saint and her daughter made us lose a youth who was fully capable of becoming a terrifying existence of rank 9. Truly, if it weren't for who they were, I'd have wanted to teach them a lesson." His friend cautioned, "Don't be too loud, boss. You probably wouldn't be able to beat him." The officer snapped back. "Can I shout my own thoughts out even?" "Anyway," he continued, "would using nuclear bombs to blow up the monsters and then going in for the rescue be possible?" His friend responded, "No, boss. The higher-ups won't agree. The spatial crack will widen if we use nuclear bombs, possibly making the consequences even more serious. There are currently 9 SS-ranked spatial cracks, and more than half were created through the use of nuclear weapons by many countries." The officer groaned. "That's no good, whatever. We can't just watch the hope of our division vanish like that. I'll bear the responsibility. Let's give it a try, even if it means higher risk. Let's first." Suddenly, a soldier rushed in and reported, "Sir, there are changes on the battlefield." "Sir, things on the defensive line have changed," the soldier added. The officer asked, "Oh, what happened?" The soldier replied, "All defense lines report that the beasts on the battlefield are retreating back to the spatial crack." The officer, shocked, commanded, "What?" "Quickly bring up a satellite image of the battlefield." The soldier switched the channel on the television. The officer stared in disbelief. "Wait, this. It doesn't look like they're retreating, not like they're being repelled. They are. A counterattack. It's a rescue. This is their lair, and there seems to be an issue in their backyard. Look. They're retreating from the front line and rushing one after another, regardless of their lives. It's like the center of the spatial crack. Something terrifying is coming out." Suddenly, a massive phoenix emerged from the spatial crack. The officer gasped, "That!" Luang then stepped out of the spatial crack, carrying Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu in his arms. As he and his phoenix surveyed the beasts around them, Luang muttered, "That's bad. The beasts are too many." If so, he then levitated, activating his skill, Ride of the Wind. He mounted the phoenix and began to fly. The officer and his team in awe muttered, "What? It's flying? Flying in the air? Isn't this something from myth and legend?" Only a small number of highly skilled prodigies who have mastered the elements can achieve this, like the legendary Marshal St. Wind cultivator. This is extraordinary. Is he truly the 19-year-old star general? Suddenly, a swarm of giant bat-like beasts screeched and charged at Lu Shang. He looked at them seriously and said, "Shut up." The sky rumbled as lightning struck the swarm, obliterating them. "Make a fuss again, and you're all dead," Lu Shang warned. The other beasts froze, shocked by how effortlessly Lu Shang kept Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu asleep amidst the chaos. Then, his phoenix emitted an intense light as Lu Shang rampaged through the surrounding beasts. The officer marveled. He's the power of lightning. Just now, he showed fire, wind, thunder, and lightning. That's amazing. What kind of power does he hold? How can he be so strong? One of the soldiers remarked, "The woman in his arms is Dong Shenyi's sister." It looks like. That was his way of reacting to his lover being in danger. In ancient times, kings created a blood path just to get their lovers back. He even burst into the gates of hell for her. The officer, grinning, exclaimed, "Since the beasts are already scared, ah ha ha ha, everyone, prepare to counterattack the spatial crack." The soldiers responded in unison, "Yes." Meanwhile, Dong Shenyi stood outside the barracks silently waiting. Moments later, Lu Sheng arrived, and Dong Shenyi noticed his presence. Dong Shenyi was shocked and blurted out, "Qing," as Lu Sheng's aura flared up around him. Before Dong Shenyi could say another word, Lu Sheng's aura silenced him. Lu Sheng said coldly, "She's finally asleep, so don't wake her up." After a tense moment, Lu Sheng released his grip, and Dong Shenyi, trembling, managed to stammer, "Thank you. Thank you for saving her." Lu Sheng, still intimidating, replied, "Don't think I won't hit you just because you said thank you. I can cut off your entire martial arts path, so you'd better be prepared. When it comes to the Eastern Military Division competition, don't expect me to hold back." The next day, Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu woke up in a sweat, startled and disoriented. Lu Sheng smiled gently and said, "You're awake?" She smiled back faintly. "It feels like. I had a very long dream. I dreamt that you saved me. You said, we're going back together." Lu Sheng cleared his throat, trying to play it off. "Ahem, really? Well, it wasn't a dream. It actually happened." As Qing Shu faintly recalled the moments when Lu Sheng had carried her, she gazed at him thoughtfully and whispered to herself. "So, it's true." Looking away, she said softly, "Yes, thank you, Lu Sheng." Lu Sheng remained silent, watching her. Qing Shu thought to herself, "You hugged me so tightly before, but now that we're out of the spatial crack, away from the life and death crisis, we seem distant once again." The wind gently blew through the room, stirring the curtains. Lu Sheng broke the silence. Qing Shu responded, "Lu." They both hesitated and then said in unison, "Ah." Qing Shu smiled and said, "You go first." Lu Sheng cleared his throat again. "Well, let's find some time to have a meal together." Qing Shu nodded. "Yes." Lu Sheng continued, "Maybe we could watch a movie afterward?" "Yes," she agreed. As their conversation continued, Lu Sheng reached out, his hand inching closer to hers. "How about taking a walk after the movie?" "Yes," she replied softly. Lu Sheng smiled. "And after the walk, we can go to a bar?" Qing Shu looked away for a moment, then nodded. "Yes." His tone grew more serious as he asked, "Will you come home with me for the new year?" He gently took her hand in his. "Yes," she answered instinctively, but then suddenly realized what he had just asked. "Ah?" Lu Sheng grinned playfully, having successfully tricked her into saying yes. "Aha, it's settled then. I'll pick you up in 2 days for dinner. Rest well before then. You've exhausted yourself and you need to recover." As he tucked her into bed, Qing Shu blushed, clearly embarrassed. Lu Sheng stood up and said, "I'm going now. See you later. Rest well." She watched as he left the room. The door clicked shut, and for a moment, Qing Shu lay there, staring at the door, lost in thought. Suddenly, she heard the door slowly creaking open again, and she smiled, expecting Lu Sheng to return. But it was Lin Wanwan who peeked in. "It's me." Lin Wanwan entered the room with a cheerful smile. "Big sister Qing Shu." "You're finally awake?" Qing Shu asked. "Wanwan, did I sleep for a long time?" Lin Wanwan giggled. "A whole day and night. Your boyfriend was by your side the entire time," she teased, holding Qing Shu's hand. Qing Shu quickly looked away. "What boyfriend?" Lin Wanwan smirked. Oh, come on, isn't it true? Look at your reaction, big sister Qing Shu. It doesn't look like you're denying it. Dong Qing Shu blushed, trying to hide her feelings. Lin Wanwan, still teasing, continued, you don't even know that he broke into that spatial crack full of beasts all by himself just to get you out. I think that's what a perfect boyfriend is. Dong Qing Shu's face softened as she quietly replied, right. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of love and warmth. One day later, on the news, a broadcast announced, the generals advanced. The horn has been blown for the counterattack against the beasts. Lu Sheng glanced at the article again and sighed. This is quite the portrayal. The article read, Lu Sheng bravely entered the rank 10 beast surge, becoming the first Eastern Star General, the Eastern Sun. Putting down his Chinese tablet, Lu Sheng muttered to himself. Although entering the surge alone was exhilarating, the reality of doing it for a romantic partner makes it less glamorous. After all, heroism in the name of personal relations is the biggest taboo on the battlefield. It's understandable that the story got distorted. He thought back, noting, Yu Xinghai took the credit for this, but I was given 10 million merits, which is fair. All the dense gold lost at the 7th front line was returned without anything missing. And finally, the Diamond Dragon Medal of Honor, personally awarded by the Marshal. It's a great honor. As he continued reflecting, Lu Sheng added quietly, during that time, I wanted Dong Qing Shu to rest peacefully, but in doing so, I exposed many of my abilities, which caused quite a stir. The endless stream of beasts drained me. By the time I finally flew out, I was completely exhausted. I never imagined a day would come when I'd be drained in battle. Lu Sheng shook his head, thinking of the legends. It's said that only martial saints can fight their way out of a surge in a spatial crack. Am I at rank 9 now? No, not yet. Martial saints can mobilize the power of heaven and earth. With a single move, they shift crowds of hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of people. Human life is limited, but the universe is endless. How can one fight the forces of heaven and earth with just human strength? It's too difficult. I still have so many areas to improve on. I haven't even broken through to the Grandmaster rank yet. Despite the reflection, Lu Sheng remained determined. But that won't stop me. The path I've chosen is different from the rest. The bridge of heaven and earth, that's where I need to go, to master its power. With the merits and dense gold I've earned, I should be able to drastically improve myself. Just then, Li Dai entered the room, interrupting his thoughts. Master, the arrangements you asked for have been completed. Lu Sheng nodded. Got it. Can I ask you something? Li Dai smiled, sensing an unusual shift in Lu Sheng's tone. Of course. Lu Sheng hesitated briefly. Do you think I should wear something special to meet someone? Li Di chuckled softly. The 5 sets on the right side of the dressing room should be suitable. Based on my understanding of Miss Dong's taste, she would prefer you to choose from those. Lu Sheng looked confused. You know her? Li Dai giggled and replied, at this point, there are probably only a few people who don't know about Miss Dong in the entire Eastern Military Division. Who doesn't know about the incredible general of the East, who went into a spatial crack alone for his beloved? Thousands of beasts couldn't stop you. All the female officers envy Miss Dong. Lu Sheng sighed. Is that so? Just as he was about to continue, something Li Dai said caught his attention. By the way, your parents' old comrade seems to have been looking for you a lot recently. What's going on? Li Dai seemed momentarily surprised before answering, yes, he wishes to pursue me, in marriage. Lu Sheng was taken aback, but internally he thought, she's lying. Though he didn't press further, Lu Sheng's sharp instincts were already piecing things together. Lu Sheng tied his shoes and asked, oh, how old is he? Li Di replied, he's still young, just over 70 years old. Lu Sheng gave a thoughtful nod. What do you think of him? I have rejected him many times, Li Dai responded earnestly. I don't wish to marry. I will serve you instead, master. Lu Sheng took his coat, sighing gently. No need. You are allowed to pursue your own happiness as you wish. As he put on his coat, he added, I may not always be here. Then walking ahead, he said, I'm leaving now. You can go. As Lu Sheng walked away, he thought to himself, everyone has their own secrets. As long as these secrets don't affect me, they're none of my concern. A few hours later, at the Blue Pigeon restaurant, Lu Sheng stood outside looking at the building. The last time our date was here, but I didn't make it. He glanced at the window, steeling himself. This time, it's a proper date. I have to behave well. Just then, he heard footsteps approaching and thought, she's coming. Lu Sheng? A voice called. Lu Sheng turned, and his world seemed to stop as he looked at Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu. He stared in awe. She's taken off her military outfit and put on something elegant. Can the word stunning even begin to describe her? No, it's beyond that. Did I shock you? Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu asked with a teasing smile. Not at all, Lu Sheng replied. You're just breathtaking. She murmured. Let's go. Of course, he said, extending his hand toward her. Qing Shu glanced at his hand, then back at him, smiling as she took it. They held hands, walking toward the restaurant. Lu Sheng, feeling her slight tremble, thought to himself, she may appear calm on the outside, but deep down, she's nervous and shy. She's unexpectedly adorable. Inside the restaurant, they sat facing each other, enjoying their meal as expensive dishes sparkled on the table. Lu Sheng couldn't resist and reached for a huge steak, but he quickly corrected himself. Ahem, I need to be more civilized. He picked up his knife and fork, glancing up to see Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu delicately eating her well-done steak. Ha, so hot, she suddenly exclaimed, spitting out a bite. Moments later, Lu Sheng, momentarily forgetting the incident, asked, Shall we watch a movie afterward? Yes, Qing Shu replied, nodding. They shared a comfortable silence, waiting for the bill. In the villa's garden, an ugly maid whispered, So, Master Lu Sheng is going out with her? The even uglier maid sneered. She didn't look that impressive. Who knows? She always seemed so cold before. Suddenly, Li Dai appeared, glaring at them. Next time I hear you speak ill of Master behind his back, I will report you directly to the military division prison. She then shouted, Scram! The maids hurried away, whispering their complaints. As Li Dai stood there, she noticed something unusual and moved towards the wall, her voice tense. Why are you here? What's wrong? The mysterious hooded figure emerged from the shadows, dropping a cigarette. When do you plan to begin? He asked. That person. Can't wait any longer. Li Dai's face grew serious. This is the Eastern Military Division, and Lu Sheng is their brightest, most brilliant star general. What can be done? The hooded figure interrupted impatiently. If I do this, Li Dai continued, how will I survive afterward? How will I escape? The hooded figure leaned closer. So what do you want to do? That kid is improving too quickly. He's not even 20 yet. In a few years, he might become someone even a rank 10 beast's venom couldn't kill. Li Di sighed. The Eastern Military Division competition will be held in a few days. He'll undoubtedly represent the East and go to the Central Division for the regional military competition. I'll handle this my way, and it'll be easier for me to get out. As long as you have a plan, the hooded figure said, nodding. After you're done, if you still want to practice martial arts, that person can arrange for you to enter the ultimate martial arts school. You'll have a status equal to a martial saint's disciple. And if you don't want that, you can get an unimaginable amount of money. Li Dai tilted her head. So much that I wouldn't be able to spend it all in this lifetime? Exactly, the hooded figure replied. As I mentioned before, you can also… Fine, Li Dai snapped, her patience wearing thin as the smoke from his cigarette irritated her. Don't come to me again in the future. If he finds out, it'll be bad for us. Now go. The hooded figure chuckled mockingly. Ha! A lady dog refusing the grace of your benefactor. Do you really think you'll find a happy ending? With that, he vanished into a swirling dark portal, leaving behind only the fading scent of smoke. On a night when the moon was full and the stars shone brightly, Lu Sheng and Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu walked together in the park. As Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu glanced at Lu Sheng, she blushed and suddenly said, Ah, we've arrived. Lu Sheng replied, Then I will let you off here. You should go in now. Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu paused and said, Lu Sheng, the Eastern Military Division competition is in a few days. I know what you're trying to say, Lu Sheng responded. I promise you that I won't hurt Shenyi, but he made a mistake and he needs to pay for it. I said I would cut his career short, and I will do it. Since he will never be able to reach rank 9, it's better for him to give up now. Well, you've decided, so there's nothing to be done about it. Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu sighed. She then suddenly embraced Lu Sheng and said, Regardless, I will always stand by your side. With that, she ran back to her apartment, calling out, See you? Lu Sheng watched her go and muttered, So, that's how I ended up? Am I hooking up with my teacher? Aha. Wait, did I miss something? He sighed, realizing he hadn't seized a moment to kiss her passionately. I was careless and didn't seize the opportunity. Well, next time, I'll make my move. In a different scene, inside Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu's room, she took off her heels and lay on the bed. She picked up her phone and began searching for her second date recommendations. The first slide read, "Ladies, what should you pay attention to on the second date?" The next slide posed the question, would it be too much to initiate a kiss on the second date? Must know, the following slide displayed 10 types of women men like, showing images of women with various features, eyes, thick thighs, and other aspects. Another slide read, when is the best time to meet the parents? Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu was taken aback and exclaimed, wow, there are so many things to watch out for when dating. Meanwhile, in another scene within the dream space, Luang concentrated in his room and said, despite its simple principle, passing through the bridge of heaven and earth is difficult. Simply put, it means breaking through the psychic and physical shackles to connect with the natural energy of heaven and earth, undergoing a transformation on a deeper level. Human life is limited, but the universe is endless. The bridge of heaven and earth gathers above the top of the head and flows beneath the soles of the feet. Focus the consciousness, calm the spirit, and rid yourself of all distracting thoughts. Suddenly, a beam of energy pierced through the sky, and birds of energy appeared as Luang activated his skill. Third form, void insight state. I actually entered the void insight state. Could this be a new form of comprehension triggered by my unique state while passing through the bridge of heaven and earth? Now, even without using the inheritance of memories from the dream space, I can master many martial arts rapidly, even to full mastery. Perfected martial arts can reach one step further. If I could have reached the third form when I was a martial saint, I wouldn't have died of exhaustion. Now I have the third form, and my other abilities like elemental control have been greatly enhanced. So this is how the bridge of heaven and earth feels? So powerful. If I can maintain this state, in addition to a constant surge of energy, I can refine 1 immortal cell in half a month, 2 in 1 month, and 12 in half a year. In less than 5 years, I will have over 100 immortal cells, and then I could crush a martial saint with a flick of a finger after the SSS rank spatial crack surge was over. The spatial cracks of the Eastern Military Division's 12 war zones seem to have fallen into a state of complete calm. Many star generals returned from their duties, and the grand event, the Eastern Military Division competition, was about to begin. At Lusheng's residence, Li Di was cleaning the table and muttered to herself, compared to the previous competition, this year seems to be without suspense because Sir Lusheng is already the unparalleled star general of the whole Eastern Division, the blazing sun that blinds everyone. Suddenly, Lusheng walked slowly down the stairs. Li Di quickly announced, Sir, the Eastern Military Division competition is about to begin. The military car is here to pick you up. I know, Lusheng replied. Li Di looked at Lusheng, and as he glanced back at her, she was shocked. She dropped to the floor saying, Ah! Lusheng looked down at her and asked, You, what's wrong? It's because. Sir's presence is so dazzling, Li Di stammered. She thought to herself, how can just a glance make my heart race and my legs feel weak? With his aura glowing, Lusheng commanded, Get me the uniform. Li Di immediately stood up, trembling as she walked away. Yes, she's good at hiding her lies, Lusheng thought. But since I've entered the void insight state, my mind has become hundreds of times sharper than an ordinary man's. Looking at people like this is like looking through a microscope. Her facial expression, mannerisms, everything proves she's guilty. And when does someone feel guilty? It's only when they've done something bad or planned to do something bad. She had met with that person before. I will have Butler Wang look into it. A conspiracy that is seen through is no longer considered a conspiracy, it's an offer. On the road, Lusheng's car sped along. Speaking to himself, he muttered, After today's Eastern Division competition, the entire military will have the Joint Military Division competition. I must reach the Central Military Division. It's next to the capital. If I finish quickly, I can go home. Should I bring Qing Shu with me? Suddenly, Butler Wang, now his driver, stopped the vehicle and said, Sir Lu, we're here. People gathered, watching as the sleek black-on-black car arrived. A boy noticed and exclaimed, Look, it's the number 1 on the Star General list, Lusheng, the son of the Eastern Division. Lusheng stepped out, walking in silence. The same boy continued in awe. Wow, he's so young. His friend asked, Is that really him? A man with a large camera zoomed in on Lusheng, filming him from behind. In a live stream, the footage suddenly shifted to a frontal view, showing Lu Sheng at the Eastern Military Division's broadcast. Liu Qiming's new friend, watching the broadcast, nudged him and said, "Look, it's your high school classmate. Your brother's such a big shot. That's so cool." Liu Qiming, uneasy, replied, "No, you're mistaken. I don't know such an important person." His friend, adjusting his glasses, countered, "What are you talking about? I've seen pictures of you two together several times. Don't you want to help your brother?" Liu Qiming, dejected, sighed. Those are photoshopped by me." His new friend, shocked, exclaimed, "Huh?" Liu Qiming, looking at an edited picture of him and Lu Sheng on his old phone, said sadly, "How can a mere stone in the mud be brothers with a star in the sky?" At the Eastern Military Division, the Marshal commented, "In our division, we haven't had such an outstanding figure to represent us for a long time." The commander replied, "Marshal, this is good for us. Although personal bravado isn't ideal on the battlefield, in peaceful times, it can inspire the entire division." The Marshal nodded. "Lu Sheng is a remarkable leader. He deserves to be an idol and a role model. Why not give him a chance this time and let him have a stage?" The commander hesitated. "What? That's too risky. If he fails, it could ruin the image he's worked so hard to build." The Marshal dismissed the concern. "I've seen him on the battlefield. It's decided. If he succeeds, he'll become the idol of the East. If not, then it'll be a valuable lesson for him." The commander reluctantly agreed. "Yes, sir." In the arena, the announcer's voice boomed. "The contestants have entered and are awaiting the start of the competition. It will begin shortly." The crowd erupted into cheers. Miss Lin Wanwan turned to Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu and teased, "Hey, big sister Qing Shu, is your boyfriend here?" Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu scanned the screen, looking for Lu Sheng. Moments later, the camera focused on him. She pointed and said, "There he is, look." As Lu Sheng walked in silence, a man suddenly appeared before him. It was Dong Shenyi. Lin Wanwan whispered excitedly, "It's senior brother Dong. His aura is like a sturdy mountain. But Lu Sheng, he's like the sun itself. When the sun crosses the sky, it looks down on the mountain below. They're not on the same level. Senior brother Dong is in trouble this time." Suddenly, the announcer interrupted, "Ahem! Quiet, everyone. We now invite the marshal and commanders for their speeches." Lu Sheng smiled to himself and mused. "They can be seen as the peak of the major military divisions. I can tell they each have more than 50 stars. Right now, I'm always in the martial god state, so I don't even know my true combat power. If I fight them, maybe I can estimate the combat power of a rank 9. The marshal stepped forward and explained, "The rules for this competition are simple. It's a free-for-all. All competitors will enter the arena. It begins with martial arts combat, and once the free-for-all starts, no weapons are allowed. You may attack any opponent. If you are knocked down, you're eliminated. The fight continues until only one remains standing." Lu Sheng commented, "Is it really that straightforward and crude?" Turning to driver Wang, he asked, "Is this the same as previous years? What if someone cheats, like teams up to take out the strongest competitor or bribes others to ensure they're the last standing?" Driver Wang responded, "Sir, that wouldn't be considered cheating. Alliances are allowed, and those defeated by them aren't truly strong. After all, wisdom is part of power. As for bribing others to be the last standing, that's even more unlikely. Even if someone wins through manipulation, they will face countless private challenges from those dissatisfied with the outcome. Those who can't prove their strength suffer miserably." Lu Sheng nodded thoughtfully. "So that's how it is. If you're number one, you must always be ready for any challenge, unless you're so powerful that everyone fears you. Yes, it's both honorable and thrilling." The marshal stepped forward, his voice commanding as he announced, "But the rules of this division competition," he paused for a moment, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, then shouted, "will be slightly different this time." Lu Sheng's eyes widened in shock. The marshal continued, "I hereby declare that all star generals in this competition should unite as a team and attack General Lu Sheng." The crowd erupted in disbelief. A voice from the audience shouted, "Huh?" Driver Wang gasped. "What?" The marshal added firmly, "This will continue until all of you fall." "But," Driver Wang stammered, sweating, "a joint attack on one person? Doesn't this mean Sir Lu will have to face thousands of enemies on his own?" Lu Sheng's expression grew serious. "Ah, this competition just got interesting." As he stood there, all eyes turned to Lu Sheng, waiting to see how he would face the overwhelming challenge ahead. The crowd was stunned and exclaimed, "What? All of the star generals are joining forces to attack one person? Is Lu Sheng really worthy of the military division making such a huge decision? Butler Wang, trembling and sweating, added, in the history of the Eastern Military Division, no, in the entire history of the Dragon Nation, nothing like this has ever happened. More than 400 masters joining hands to attack one person. It's insane. Butler Wang continued, his voice shaking. Even if it were a top-tier expert, they would still be overwhelmed in a sea of people. At the martial arts arena, the announcer echoed the shock. What? All of the star generals are joining forces to attack one person? Is Lu Sheng really worthy of the military division making such a decision? Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu, drenched in sweat, silently prayed for Lu Sheng's safety. At the field base, Lu Kaiming, both shocked and furious, shouted, This isn't fair, right? At the resting zone, Dong Shengyi looked at Lu Sheng and Butler Wang from a distance and said, how will such a thing be decided? Suddenly, a thunderous voice from the marshal rang out. Silence. This is an order. He turned to the crowd and added, if you don't wish to participate, you can leave at any time. Then, facing Lu Sheng, the marshal asked, General Lu Sheng, do you have any objections? Inwardly, he mused, this is an important moment, one that will be witnessed by all. If you seize this opportunity, you will soar into the blue skies and travel through the 9 heavens. Many years from now, people will still sing your praises in the Eastern Military Division. That would be an unprecedented achievement. But if you don't, forget future glory. You'll be just another ordinary general, a mere dinner topic for casual conversation. Lu Sheng responded confidently, I have no objections. An old man in the crowd looked at Lu Sheng in shock as Lu Sheng added, in fact, I was rather bored anyway. This is just what I want. Suddenly, a thunderous laugh came from the marshal. Ha ha ha, good! It couldn't be better. He thought to himself, those 4 words, just what I want, are filled with courage and ambition. It's rare for anyone to possess even a fraction of that. The marshal then shouted, let's begin, everyone, enter the martial arts arena. This time, all of you can use your weapons in full strength. A person in the crowd muttered, military orders are like mountains. No wonder, the majority bullies the minority. Lu Sheng silently walked toward the arena, all eyes focused on him. A man without a shirt exclaimed in shock, he's empty-handed. His friend replied, Lu Sheng enters the arena empty-handed? Another asked, no weapon? Did he forget it? A girl watched him mesmerized. A guy holding a mop as a weapon muttered, is he that arrogant? The marshal then asked, who will go fetch a weapon for General Lu Sheng? Butler Wang eagerly responded, me. He excitedly ran toward the car to retrieve the enhanced crystalline scarlet draconic spear. But before Butler Wang could return, Lu Sheng interjected, no need, I won't use a weapon. If I do, I'm afraid only a few would survive. So I'll fight barehanded. His words echoed throughout the arena, leaving the old man and a green-haired man puzzled. Did he just say, if I do, I'm afraid a few would survive? They thought, startled. Dong Shengyi stood in silence, also taken aback by Lu Sheng's bold statement. Pang Huaiyu, worried about Lu Sheng, heard his words and thought, is he serious? The crowd began murmuring in disbelief. Insane. They grew angry, shouting, he's insane. Such arrogance. Does he really think he can take on hundreds of people by himself? The marshal, however, was impressed. This guy is good. Such simple words, yet they reveal a deep level of confidence, he remarked. He could feel the intensity of Lu Sheng's words, thinking to himself, this is it, it's already started. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. As the crowd surrounded Lu Sheng, dark auras began converging on him. But Lu Sheng simply smiled and closed his eyes, unfazed by the ominous energy. Suddenly he shouted, Dong Shengyi. Dong Shengyi replied, speak. An old man near Dong Shengyi, shocked by the call-out, pretended he still had some fight left in him. Dong Shengyi walked slowly forward, a dark snake forming from his aura as he prepared to face Lu Sheng. With confidence, Lu Sheng pointed at Dong Shengyi like a playful child and said, make sure to keep your eyes open. He unleashed his godly aura, causing the dark energy to retreat from him. Smiling, he continued, watch as I, step by step, sever your martial arts journey. His aura erupted like a nuclear explosion, causing those nearby to shield themselves from the blast. Lu Sheng then stomped the ground, his godly energy shattering it into pieces. Rain began to fall, and the weaker members of the crowd were overwhelmed by the pressure of Lu Sheng's aura. One of them, struggling to lift his head, gasped, How is this possible? He just took a step. His friend stammered, we're so terrified by his momentum that we couldn't help but fall to the ground. A doctor nearby, also on the ground, added in disbelief, he didn't use his gang chi, that's pure physical strength. Heavens, they murmured. Luang then raised his hand toward the sky, his godly aura radiating, and a beam of golden light pierced the dark clouds. With a commanding voice, he shouted, break! The crowd was in shock, and one person, sweating, exclaimed, This is? What is this power? Run, quickly. Shenyi stood firm, facing the bright light. Luang spoke calmly, the force of the first step. As he prepared to punch Shenyi, a massive fist surged towards Dong, head on. Shenyi shielded his eyes from the blinding light, his eyes widening in shock. Is this Luang's true physical strength? He thought. A burst of energy struck Shenyi. Moments later, his shirt was shredded from the sheer intensity of Luang's punch. Stunned, he muttered, my force field was shattered by a single impact. How is that possible? The marshal, equally shocked, shouted, that's ridiculous. No star general could withstand even one punch of his physical strength. He's a monster in human form. As Luang's fist continued to charge with energy, flames burst around him. A voice from the arena shouted, what should we do? We've been beaten down with just one blow. Luang brushed dust off his shoulder and asked, what are you going to do, surrender? Shenyi rose silently. He declared, a star general can be killed but never humiliated. Everyone, let's work together. I will lead. He then shouted, Gang Chi, take shape, as he drew his spear charging at Luang. Luang, take this, he roared, thrusting his spear forward. Luang, standing unfazed, said, Shenyi, next is the second step. He waited for the spear to strike, then calmly said, defend. Shenyi's spear couldn't even penetrate Luang's force field. Shocked, Shenyi exclaimed, what? It didn't even break your force field. Suddenly, other contestants rushed to push Shenyi from behind, giving him a boost. We're here to help. Shh, let's break his defense together. We can't let Luang get too cocky, they cried. Miss Lin Wanwan, watching in awe, remarked, this is the first time I've seen so many star generals fighting together against one person. I'm afraid only a martial saint could handle this, and Luang isn't. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Qing Shu stared intently at Luang, hoping for his victory. Beads of sweat formed on her face as she asked, this is the combined power of the strongest star generals in the entire military division. Will Luang be okay? Suddenly, an explosion rocked the arena, dust clouds covering the battlefield. Shenyi shouted in excitement, we succeeded! But as the dust settled, Luang stood there, unmoved, brushing the dust off his chest. What? Were you trying to tickle me? He taunted. A person beside Shenyi muttered, could it be? He's not only the strongest spear but also the strongest shield. Shenyi, in disbelief, asked, how is that possible? Luang's voice echoed through the arena. Next is the third step, Chi. The ground shook, and Luang's aura intensified, causing the arena to shatter. Shenyi, still stunned, muttered, this is Qi form. Is he so powerful that he can condense his own form through his Qi? As the light from Luang's Qi grew brighter, he unleashed a wave of energy, sending all the other contestants flying with a cry of, ah! The marshal, wide-eyed, gasped. This Qi, how many stars of combat power are inside? 30, 40, or more? It's impossible to tell. Damn it, everyone but Shenyi has been defeated, someone muttered. Shenyi looked around at his fallen comrades and whispered, how could he? Suddenly, Luang appeared behind Shenyi, looming over him. The fourth step skill, he said ominously. Shenyi, trembling, asked, ah! Frozen in fear, he watched Luang prepare another punch. Luang's voice was calm but deadly as he said, 1-inch punch. His fist struck Shenyi's stomach, forcing him to cough up the remains of his lunch with a cry of, ugh! Shenyi collapsed to the ground in pain, gasping. Luang looked down at him and asked, Shenyi, do you think that's enough? As Shenyi trembled in agony, Luang walked away, muttering, looks like you aren't listening anymore. Shenyi lay unconscious on the floor. The marshal, dripping with sweat, was dumbstruck. He eliminated him with a single punch, that is, a great master with the 4 realms boxing skill. An officer nearby exclaimed, what? 4 realms? His friend added, the pinnacle of martial arts skills. something only a martial saint can reach. The marshal, in disbelief, sank into his chair and muttered, I originally thought he had a chance to take the stage, but I never expected. A god has been born. A legendary general of the Eastern Military Division. This boy will be remembered. No matter if he steps back or forward, he would be a true saint either way. With that short fight, the Eastern Military Division competition had come to an end. Lu Sheng won the competition. That was the brief mention in the Military Division Daily regarding the results of the Eastern Military Division competition. By that point, Lu Sheng had already become famous throughout the entire military of the Dragon Nation. In a different scene, Butler Wang said to Lu Sheng, Sir, the weapon you wanted to build and upgrade is complete. Please check it out. Lu Sheng examined the weapon and said, Oh, not bad. More than 90% of it is made from dense gold, and the rare materials mixed into it are not inferior to the gold either. This weapon has reached rank 8. Good. Butler Wang added, By the way, Sir Lu, the military competition will begin soon. The marshal said you can leave in the next few days, and the military will provide a special plane for you. Lu Sheng walked away with his new weapon and replied, No, I'm going home. I'll arrive a day or two earlier. Butler Wang said, Sir, then I will take my leave and not disturb you. Lai Dai watched Lu Sheng leaving, and she suddenly called out, Wait, sir. Lu Sheng looked back, and Lai Dai said, Sir, you are going to the Central Military Division competition, right? I wish to accompany you there. Lu Sheng thought to himself. Starting now? He responded, Sure. Lai Dai said, Thank you, sir, as she smirked, a plan forming in her mind. Lu Sheng replied, What are you thanking me for? You have to accompany me and wait on me. He smirked as well with his own plan in mind. He suddenly smiled and added, I should be the one thanking you. Lai Dai, shocked and sweating, stammered, No, sir. Lu Sheng said, I'm going out for a while. Get ready. Lai Dai responded, Yes, sir. A few moments later outside, Lu Sheng and Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu walked in the park, holding each other's hands. Lu Sheng said, Qing Shu, I'm going home before the competition begins. Will you come too? Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu replied, Not this time. You cut off my big brother's martial arts journey. My family knows, and I have to return. Lu Sheng said, Do you want me to accompany you back? Actually, Dong Shengyi's current situation isn't necessarily bad. He had high aspirations, but the path to becoming a martial saint is brutal. He didn't realize that his talent and skills weren't enough for that path. If he hadn't met me, he would have encountered someone stronger sooner or later. And then he might have lost not only his self-esteem, but also his life. I've cut off that path now. If he finds his way out of the darkness, he might have a better chance. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu said, I don't quite understand your words, but I'll tell him. Lu Sheng added, By the way, I'll probably do something similar to your older brother, Dong Potian, during the Central Military Division competition. Why don't you speak with him? Otherwise, he might end up like Dong Shengyi. Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu hesitated, then sighed. Okay, I'll talk to him later. She hugged Lu Sheng and smiled happily, thinking to herself, with his power, maybe Lu Sheng really can do it. In a different scene at the high-speed rail, Lu Sheng sat alone looking outside. A beautiful stewardess approached and said, Hello, sir. Do you need any help? Lu Sheng replied, No need. Go about your tasks. In the back of the room, the stewardesses whispered to each other. Wow, this man is so handsome and so young, exactly like the young marshals from the comics. Lovely. Her friend added, See, as I said, all the handsome guys are in the military. Why are the handsome ones defending the nation instead of being celebrities? The other stewardess responded, It's the status and power. I heard this position was created just for him. As Lai Dai listened to them from a distance, Lu Sheng suddenly called out, Lai Dai, the tea is cold. Please pour me another cup. Li Dai replied, Yes, sir. In the tea room, Li Di used the tea dispenser to pour some hot tea. She suddenly slipped something into Lu Sheng's cup and stared at it closely, her expression serious and tense. A few moments later, Li Di handed over the hot tea to Lu Sheng and said, Sir, your tea. Lu Sheng, engrossed in his phone, said, I'm going through some messages. Put it aside for now. He thought to himself, He Lingsu, the Chen, it's time to go and help her. Lu Sheng frowned slightly. Qing is not rank 4 yet, right? How can she sleep peacefully with such low power? I need to increase the difficulty of her training 5-fold. A smile crept onto his face. A delightful decision. He continued scrolling through his phone, looking at pictures of his future wives. A few minutes later, Lai Dai said, "Sir, the tea is getting cold." Lu Sheng, still focused on his phone, remarked, "Lai Dai, you've never been so eager for me to drink tea before." Lai Dai, sweating, responded, "Sir wanted hot tea earlier. I was worried it would get cold before you could drink it." Lu Sheng took the cup and said, "Is that so?" He began to drink the tea while Lai Dai watched him intently, her expression calm and patient. Lu Sheng remarked, "Not bad, Lai Dai. This is the tastiest tea you've made so far," unaware that she had simply taken it from a machine. Lai Dai responded, "As long as Sir likes it, that's good news. I'll be in the bathroom. Call me if you need anything, sir." She then walked out. In the back of the room, Lai Dai sighed with relief. She whispered to herself, a wicked grin forming, "My mission is complete. This is a genetic poison from a rank 9 otherworldly beast. Even the strongest experts can't hold on for a minute. Even if the poison fails to kill a rank 9 martial saint, it will gravely damage their vitality, leaving them with permanent injuries. Just one more minute, and I'll be free, out of the military's control, away from this humble, boring life. I'll go to a new place and start a new life." She envisioned her new future as she reached for the door, but as her hand touched the handle, a sudden sharp pain shot through her fingers. She cried out, "Ah, what's going on? It's burning." Lu Sheng's calm voice echoed through the room. "Interesting, right? It's called a psychic illusion, just a little trick I recently learned." He poured the remaining hot tea onto her hands. Lai Dai trembled, shock spreading across her face. "Sir," she stammered. "Sir, you're a master of martial arts. I've witnessed it with my own eyes." Her voice wavered as she collapsed to the ground, her forehead pressed against the floor. Lu Sheng looked down at her, a hint of amusement in his voice. "I also learned a lot today. I didn't expect that in this era, a poison capable of influencing a martial saint would exist." He chuckled softly. "The Saint's Ruin, not a bad name, don't you think, Lai Dai?" Lai Dai kneeled to the ground, facing Lu Sheng. She said, "Sir, please, kill me." Lu Sheng responded, "Sit down. Let's talk." Lai Dai replied, "This one wouldn't dare. I know what you want to ask me. I will tell you everything." Lu Sheng said, "It must have been someone from the Jidao martial school who asked you to do this." Lai Dai was shocked. "Sir, you already know?" "I've known for about half a month," Lu Sheng said. "But that doesn't matter. Tell me, did they promise you any compensation?" Five billion, Lai Dai stammered, sweat dripping down her forehead. Lu Sheng fiddled with the bottle and remarked, "Oh, so my life is quite valuable, isn't it? This must be very expensive, right?" Li Di replied, "One drop is worth 500 million. And this bottle has at least 15 drops. Lu Sheng glanced at the bottle. "Yes, that's a lot of money. Do you have anything else to tell me?" Lai Dai bowed her head. "I know my crime is unforgivable. I only ask that you do not send me back to the military. The only way I can atone for this sin is to die." Lu Sheng looked at her intently. "I won't kill you or send you back to the military, but I want you to do something for me to make up for your mistake." A few moments later at the terminal, Lai Dai said, "Take care, sir," as Lu Sheng walked outside. A hooded man grinned angrily as he saw Lu Sheng leave. "Damn it, that kid is still alive." He turned to Lai Dai. "What on earth happened? How is he still alive?" Lai Dai hesitated. "I didn't find the right moment to make my move." The man frowned. "So you called me over? Why didn't you just follow him?" Lai Dai looked down, then said, "Because he asked me to help him do something." Suddenly, she shoved the man, forcing them both toward the tracks. "We will die together," she whispered. The man's eyes widened in shock. "Ha!" As they fell onto the tracks, a bullet train approached with terrifying speed. He shouted, "Damn it!" "Let me go," a person in the crowd yelled. "No, someone is committing suicide on the railway tracks." Another asked, "What's happening?" "Quickly, let's check." Lu Sheng glanced back. Li Di should have completed her mission by now. He continued to himself, "I planted the psychic energy seed in her heart just now. This technique works like hypnosis. I've always underestimated the value of psychic energy. If I use my rank 8 psychic energy, my overall power will drastically rise. Psychic illusions, manipulation. I can deceive a target's 5 senses, creating an imaginary world for them, just like a dream." The psychic energy seed in Lai Dai was simple: atonement. The only way for her sins to be washed away was through her sacrifice. A mistake is a mistake, and naturally, it must be paid for. It looks like my heart has grown colder. But if this protects the people around me from getting hurt, then it must become even colder. He clenched his fists. Lian Su, since you want to play with me, I will let you play until the end. In another scene at Huafu community, Lu Sheng's home, his father exclaimed, Governor Xia, why are you all here? Xiaohe, go make some tea for the guests. Governor Xi Pingnan entered the house and said, We're old friends, no need to make such a fuss. A big shot from the military division is visiting Baihe City today. As I'm here to see him, I decided to stop by. I didn't think Lu Sheng would be home today. I, Xi Pingnan, am so lucky to have food prepared by Mrs. Lu again. Lu Sheng's father replied, Governor Xia usually eats too many delicacies, so sometimes he enjoys our simple dishes for a change. Governor Xi Pingnan chuckled. No need to be so modest. It's not easy to raise the best martial arts champion in the nation, haha. Lu Qingge handed over a cup of cold tea with leaves and said, Governor Xia, please have some tea. Governor Xi Pingnan nodded. Thank you. He thought to himself, Lu Sheng is such a strange child. I didn't pay much attention to him at first, but every time I do, I'm surprised. He took a sip, noticing the taste of the cold tap water. He thought to himself, back then, he single-handedly wiped out an entire gang known for its violent criminals. After that, he broke all the records of the 7 university towers. Then, at the National Martial Arts Student Conference, he defeated the Jidao twins and Xiaoyu Saint Miao. He keeps on surprising me. He must be a master by now. It's only been 1 or 2 years, but his growth is unparalleled. Although I'm here to congratulate him as a mere gesture of investment, befriending martial artist geniuses with great potential often brings benefits by the dozens or even hundreds. He's like a great seed, just water it, and it grows into a towering tree. President Xiao Yuhei has already started enjoying the returns on his investment in Lu Sheng. He's positioning himself to become the vice president of the capital's martial arts association. Lu Sheng's father glanced at his new watch and said, Xiao Sheng is rushing back from the military division. He should be here soon. Governor Xi Pingnan was taken aback. From the military division? Yes, Lu Sheng's father replied. He said the university was too boring, so he joined the military. He told me a while back that he's transferring to the Eastern Military Division. Don't you think it's absurd? He's been at the university for less than half a year, and now he's in the military. So dangerous. Governor Xi Pingnan smiled knowingly. To support his family, it seems Lu Sheng is doing quite well in the military. That kid is like a dragon entering the ocean. It won't be long before he's soaring into the skies. Ha ha. Suddenly, the sound of a car horn echoed outside. Beep. Governor Xi Pingnan looked toward the source. That honking car. Could it be? Lu Sheng's father peered outside. I think it's the Dongning province's major general's car. He must be here to see you. Excuse us, we should go greet this distinguished guest. Lu Sheng's father added, Let's go welcome him together. We can't afford to be negligent. A few moments later, outside, a crowd had gathered. They saw many guards in formation and a red carpet rolled out. A person in the crowd whispered, Is someone important coming? His friend replied, Wow, look at all those guards. Suddenly, a military jeep sped into view. Governor Xi Pingnan remarked with a chuckle, Old Jian's extravagance is always a sight I get envious every time. Lu Sheng's father nodded. What a grand entrance. As a military official stepped out of the jeep, Governor Xi Pingnan greeted him, Old Qian, but the driver immediately shushed him. Lower your voice. Governor Xi Pingnan wiped the sweat from his brow. Oh, the driver then turned and announced loudly, Welcome, Admiral. Governor Xi Pingnan froze. What? There's a big shot from the military division. Someone ranked even higher than Old Qian in that car? He turned back to Lu Sheng's family and said, Why did you all come here? Ah, never mind. An important person is arriving. It's best you return to your home for now. Lu Sheng's father nodded hastily. Ah, yes, let's not get in the way. Lu Sheng's mother quickly agreed. Yes, yes. She added under her breath. Fortunately, Xiao Sheng hasn't returned yet. As they started to leave, Lu Qing's eyes widened, staring at the car with confusion. A figure emerged from the jeep. Wait, Lu Qing exclaimed in shock. That is, Big Brother? Lu Qing immediately ran towards Lu Sheng, hugging him tightly. Big Brother, it's really you. You look so handsome in this uniform. Lu Sheng gently patted Lu Qing's head. You've grown a lot taller. You're a big girl now. Lu Sheng waved to his parents and his father exclaimed, Huh? It's really our son. His mother looked bewildered. What's going on here? Governor Xia Pingnan observed the scene, thinking to himself, that high school student has now become a top military expert? His eyes caught the dragon emblem on Lu Sheng's uniform and he muttered, the dragon emblem doesn't lie. Governor Xia Pingnan immediately saluted Lu Sheng. Xia Pingnan, governor of Dongning province, greets the admiral. Lu Sheng replied, Governor Xia, I haven't seen you for 6 months now. Thank you for taking care of my family. Governor Xia Pingnan stammered, Ah, it is my duty, Admiral. Lu Sheng gestured towards the house. Let's go inside and talk, it's cold out here. Governor Xia Pingnan shook his head. No need, Admiral Lu, you've just returned home, and an outsider like me shouldn't intrude. I'll visit another day. Lu Sheng nodded. Sure, Governor Xia. I'll treat you to some tea soon. Lu Qing clapped her hands. Hee. Let's go home quickly, big brother. With a straight posture, Governor Xia Pingnan affirmed, yes. As the family walked back to their home, Lu Sheng's father suggested, now that you're here, stay and have a meal with us. Lu Qing had chimed in, big brother, where's my gift? His mother nudged her. Hey, honey, stop talking so much and let's go inside. I want to enjoy a nice drink. Old Qian, standing nearby, said, take care, Admiral. Governor Xia Pingnan watched in silence, then suddenly turned to Old Qian. Old Qian, please tell me, Admiral Lu, what's going on with that? Old Qian looked stunned. What do you mean? Wait, don't tell me he's that martial arts genius you valued so much back then? Governor Xia Pingnan replied, what else did you think? Old Qian exclaimed, darn it, and grabbed Governor Xia's shoulders. Old Xia, you're really fortunate. Don't forget about me, brother. In another scene at the living room of Lu Sheng's mansion, Lu Qingyi asked, big brother, how did you become an admiral in the military division? When did that happen? His father added, yes, how did you become such a big shot in the military? His mother, handing him a cup of cold tea, said, even old Xia saluted you when he saw you. Lu Sheng took a sip and replied, thank you, Mom. It's a long story. I'll tell you later. He then continued, Mom, Dad, I have something important to discuss with you. I'm in love, and I have a partner. He blushed as he spoke. The family was taken aback. What? Half an hour later, Lu Sheng put down the cup and said, that's about it. I came back home to take you to the military division to meet her. His mother clapped her hands. Wonderful. I have a break next week, so I should go shopping. We can't show up empty-handed on our first meeting. His father said, I should ask for leave from the supermarket beforehand. Lu Qing chimed in, I'm on vacation, so it's okay. Lu Sheng announced, we'll leave tomorrow. His parents were startled. Huh? Why so soon? Lu Sheng explained, well, she's busy lately and has only a few days off. If we're late, she won't have time for us. But you can talk with her yourselves. He took out his phone and called Lieutenant Colonel Dong Qing Shu. She answered with a start. Hello, Uncle, Aunt. Although this is the military division, there are shopping malls, supermarkets, restaurants, and tourist attractions here. You can come tomorrow evening. No need to bring anything. Lu Sheng's mother replied, good, good. Then we'll come tomorrow. His father remarked, she's such a nice girl. We have similar tastes. His mother pinched his ear playfully. Stop talking nonsense. I'm going to pack our things now. No matter how good things look, they're not as good as those at home. His father winced. I know. Lu Qing giggled. Ha ha, his mother urged, get moving quickly. His father yelped, ouch, ouch. Lu Sheng watched them, a warm smile on his face. He returned to his room, musing, the easiest and best way to trick my family into going to the military division is under the pretext of meeting their future daughter-in-law. Some time had passed since Lai Dai's plan failed. If nothing unexpected arises, Liang Su's follow-up measures should be in place soon. Even that bottle of the saint's ruin, she wouldn't simply let it go, something that's worth 5 billion. Even Liang Su, the wife of a martial saint, would feel the loss. I just don't know what her next move will be. He sighed, I'm so foolish. It isn't that difficult. Isn't looking into the system enough? A few moments later, he entered a relaxed state. He opened his eyes, suddenly alert. Black Demon Society? Liang Su's backup plan turns out to be the Black Demon Society, an organization even more mysterious than the Ring Imprint and the Dark Star. Few know details about it, but there is no such thing as a secret in my system. The Black Demon Society is a sinister international terrorist organization known for conducting gene transformation experiments on humans and beasts. Its members refer to themselves as the Demon Gods. The 72 Pillars of Solomon serve as code names for the organization's strongest operatives, including a rank 9 among them. The Black Demon Society is supported by the Lion Nation, which is one of the reasons it continues to thrive. Although there's no clear information on who from the Black Demon Society wants me dead, that doesn't matter. In the future, Qing Shu will be dead, which means their assassination attempt is destined to fail. It seems that the battle against the Jidao Martial Saint is drawing near, outside Bai City. Jero spoke into a phone call. I'm here. I heard a big shot from the top 10 is involved in this. Do you know who the target is? The person on the other end replied, You're mistaken. More than one of the top 10 is here. Jeros was stunned. Darn it. Could it be that our target this time is the Dragon Nation's Martial Saint's child? The voice on the other end continued. He might be even more valuable than the Martial Saint's biological child. The military believes he's the most likely candidate to become the next Martial Saint. He's just 20 years old, but his combat power is estimated to be over 30 stars, on par with the 10th ranked member of our Black Demon Society. Jeros responded with disbelief. 20 years old and already comparable to the 10th ranked demon god? Unbelievable. Who wants him dead? The other voice replied, A genius like him is a prized asset to any nation or organization, but not everyone views him the same way. To some, he's a treasure. To others, he's a threat. Jeros was silent for a moment before saying, So, we have to eliminate the threat before it reaches its full potential. He threw a Chinese dagger, embedding it into Lu Sheng's poster. The next day, Lu Qing and the family were packed and ready to enter the car. She asked, Big brother, you really don't want to come with us? Lu Sheng shook his head. I have a military mission, so I have to go. Don't worry, Qing Shu has already arranged everything in the military division. You all go and have some fun for 2 days. I'll join you soon. As they prepared to leave, his father patted him on the back. The national mission is above all else, we understand. Go ahead, my son, and give it your best. Dad is proud of you. Lu Sheng's expression turned serious as he watched them drive off. He took out his phone and said, Colonel, he answered, Don't worry, Lu Sheng. We've dispatched a special team of star generals and fighter planes. They'll reach the military division in 2 hours. Lu Sheng replied, Thank you. Colonel, he reassured him, It's no problem. As for the issue with the Black Demon Society you mentioned, I've already alerted the local military divisions. We're ready to cooperate with your plan. But are you certain you don't need me to send an expert for backup? That terrorist organization, the Black Demon Society, is not to be taken lightly. 3 years ago, the Southern Military Division had clashed with the Black Demon Society, specifically confronting Paimoni, the 9th of the 72 demon gods. 5 rank star general teams, including 4 top star generals with combat power above 15 stars, surrounded him. Despite their efforts, Paimoni managed to injure 7 people, kill 3, and still escape. The incident caused a huge uproar, and the loss of 1 top-star general with great potential, along with 2 5-star generals, dealt a heavy blow to the military. Colonel, he continued, the top 10 demon gods are much stronger than our generals. You'll be in serious danger facing them alone. Lu Sheng smirked. Me? In trouble? He chuckled confidently. Colonel, you must be joking. They're the ones who should be worried. The reason the rats hiding in the gutter are dangerous is that you never know when they'll leap out and bite. But once that advantage is gone, it's they who will be in trouble, Lu Sheng remarked, glancing into the distance. Just put some tasty bait in the trap to lure them out. Isn't that right, Colonel? Jeros, watching through his binoculars from more than 10 kilometers away, suddenly felt a chill. He stumbled back, muttering, What? Did he just look at me? No, it's impossible. It's over 10 kilometers away. He raised his Nikon binoculars again, trying to convince himself. It must have been a coincidence. Yes, just a coincidence. But how could the Dragon Nation have someone this strong? I thought only one of the top 10 demon gods could do that. Meanwhile, Lu Sheng spoke calmly to Colonel He. Indeed, they're here, he said, fully activating his psychic power. I've extended it to cover a 30-kilometer range, far better than satellite monitoring. Finding a few of these rats won't be difficult. He smirked. Unfortunately, the one patrolling is only rank 6. Colonel, he replied, Well, stick to your plan, but be careful. Lu Sheng nodded. Thank you, I've got it. Colonel, he sighed as he put down his phone. I'm getting old. Here I am, a colonel in the military, and yet I'm not as decisive or courageous as a 20-year-old. Reflecting on Lu Sheng's recent performance, he added, If one of the top 10 demon gods shows up, things could get challenging. If 2 appear, it might become serious, But whether he advances or retreats, the marshal is right. This boy will be remembered. Maybe the ones who should be worried are those plotting against him. Jaros continued watching Lu Sheng through his binoculars. Then made his report. The target has entered the high-speed rail station and is leaving Bai City. Destination, the capital. Received. Continue tracking. Yes. Jaros's vision suddenly blurred and he clutched his head, feeling dizzy. Huh? What's happening? My head feels dizzy. He collapsed to the ground, barely managing a gasp. Lu Sheng's voice came through the radio, steady and assured. A terrorist, 1 kilometer away at 7 o'clock. I've already dealt with him. Send someone to collect him. In the control room, an officer pretended to hold a mic to his forehead and replied, What? Are you sure? Okay, I'll send someone right away. Several minutes later, the officers arrived and found Jaros, unconscious and lifeless, with his head detached. One of them stared in disbelief. This is simply unbelievable. If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't have believed it. He's only 20 years old. How is this possible? Lu Sheng, standing nearby, said, It takes 1 day and 1 night to reach the capital, more than enough time to draw the rats out. Just then a female officer approached and saluted. Captain Guo Aiying of the Dongyi Provincial Military Division, reporting to the Admiral. I'm here to assist with this operation. Please give your orders. Lu Sheng waved a hand dismissively. Relax. He opened a lunchbox and added, I just need you to handle a small task. It won't be too troublesome. Captain Guo Aiying nodded. Yes, sir. Lu Sheng opened the lunchbox, revealing a vial. He mused to himself, I should prepare for the rats. He downed the contents and muttered, Rank 8 otherworldly marrow. Brace for impact. 7th immortal cell. Activate. A surge of power flowed through his body, causing the air around him to ripple. Captain Guo Aiying trembled slightly, feeling the intensity of his aura. Meanwhile, in another scene, a man paced back and forth, frustration evident in his voice. Darn it, darn it, darn it. He threw his Miss Speaker's Dan Clark Ether Flow headphones to the ground. Jaros's signal has been cut off. He might already be dead. A woman standing behind him asked calmly, Where is the target now? He replied, According to the last report, the target is en route to the capital. The journey will take around 50 hours in total. She smirked. More than 2 days? That's plenty of time. We'll be able to return soon. He clenched his fists. Good. The 4th demon god is on his way. How dare these Dragon Nation fools attack nobles like us? They'll pay a heavy price for this. On the bullet train, Lu Sheng sat silently, lost in thought. Behind him, Captain Guo Aiying of the Dongyi Provincial Military Division stood trembling, unable to conceal her unease. There's still a lot of time. No need to be so nervous, Lu Sheng said calmly. Captain Guo Aiying kept her thoughts to herself. I was just told that he's an extremely terrifying big shot, and his orders must be obeyed unconditionally. But what exactly is this mission? She broke out in a cold sweat, her voice shaky as she responded, Yes, sir. Lu Sheng took a sip of water. Guo Aiying's mind continued to race. Maybe the higher-ups are exaggerating too much. He's so calm. She glanced outside the window, and her face suddenly paled. This is? She gasped, her eyes widening in disbelief. She turned back to Lu Sheng, panic in her voice. Sir, it's an S-rank danger. Please evacuate quickly. But Lu Sheng had already vanished from his seat, leaving her even more bewildered. Ha! She muttered, looking around in confusion. When she peered outside again, she saw him facing the threat head-on. Sir, she cried out in alarm. With a commanding voice, Lu Sheng invoked his skill. Stellar power! His fist smashed through the danger, shattering it like glass. He glanced back at her, a smirk playing on his lips. You're a bit late. Captain Guo Aiying stared, utterly stunned by what she had witnessed. What on earth is this? A movie? She muttered to herself. Lu Sheng, still composed, said, Please wait a moment. I need to take care of something. I'll be back shortly. Clinging to a nearby rail for stability, she protested weakly. Ah, this is a high-speed train in motion. Sir, you can fly? Lu Sheng turned his attention outside, spotting a figure standing atop an electric pole. This aura, he muttered. The mysterious man chuckled, his voice dripping with mockery. Sorry you can actually ride on the wind, so you must be a psychic mentalist. That's really interesting. Lu Sheng's gaze sharpened. Is it just you? The man smirked. Do you think that's all I have? I thought I'd kill you easily, but I didn't expect such an unforeseen surprise. He lifted his head, revealing a tongue piercing. He continued with a sinister grin. You remind me of those military guys I met the last time I was in the Dragon Nation. So charming, so young and brave. The man's smile twisted into something cruel, and just like fresh-planted grass, soft and fragile. Tearing them apart was intoxicating. He laughed, then added, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm the 9th demon god of the Black Demon Society, Paimon. Luang glanced at his watch and whispered, 1 minute and 20 seconds. You sure talk a lot. Paimon's expression twisted into a scowl. What? Kid, I won't let you get the chance to. Before he could finish, Luang struck, slicing through Paimon in a single motion. The demon god barely registered what had happened before he fell, bisected. As Paimon's lifeless body crumpled, Luang muttered, 7 immortal cells, 4th realm of swordsmanship, plus my martial arts will. I'd be a disgrace if I needed more than one move to defeat you. He glanced at his hand, checking for dirt. Ha! What rank did he say he was again? Luang mused to himself. Whatever. I'll just check if there are any accomplices nearby. Let's take care of this all at once. He focused, closing his eyes momentarily before reopening them with a sharp intensity. Perception activation, he announced, scanning the area. Yes, there are more of them, but they're a bit further away. It's going to be a hassle. Well, let's wait for them to come to me instead, he decided, settling back onto the speeding train. I'm drifting further from the average man, beyond the realm of ordinary cultivators, turning my life into a martial arts fantasy. Luang leapt back onto the high-speed bullet train, seamlessly re-entering the cabin. Inside, Captain Guo Ying's eyes were red from tears. Sir, you're back, she stammered. Luang resumed his seat, appearing as unbothered as ever. He thought to himself, from Baihe City to the capital, it's over 8,000 kilometers. I'm sure Liang Su will try to kill me somewhere along the way. Watching him, Captain Guo Ying trembled with a mix of awe and fear. How did he do it? At over 200 kilometers per hour, this is not a simple bus. Captain Guo Ying watched Luang, awe evident in her eyes. He can come and go as he pleases. So mystical, she thought. Luang turned to face her, his expression serious. Right, caught off guard, Captain Guo Ying straightened up. Ah, yes, what is it, sir? You wait here, Luang instructed. I'm going to take care of something and we'll be back soon. By the way, send the coordinates to the military and have them prepare to be on standby. He placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, and she nodded, albeit shakily. Ah, yes, sir. A few moments later, she approached Luang again, hesitantly asking, Sir, what should I do now? Luang replied calmly, Now? There's nothing left to do. It's over. You should get some rest. I'll let you know if anything changes. He stood up, and as she watched him, she couldn't hide her confusion. It's over, she murmured. His tone was as casual as the one my father used at the station. Wait here, I'll buy some oranges. In another scene, the face of the 9th demon god of the Black Demon Society, Paimon, flickered on a monitor. A man at the console shouted in panic, Damn it, Lord Paimons, his life signals have completely vanished. A woman beside him gasped, her voice laced with disbelief. What? How could this happen? I'll inform the master. You continue to monitor, he commanded, his tone urgent. Yes, she replied quickly, pulling out her phone and dialing. When her call connected, she said, Master, Paimon is dead. The path is unclear. We need to proceed with caution. This time, the target doesn't seem to be as simple as we thought. A low, mocking laugh came from the other end of the line. Ha ha ha, I'm not a fool like Paimon. Though the Dragon Nation is weak, he made such a spectacle last time. He's been under scrutiny for a long time, and now he tried to act so brazenly. It's no surprise he got killed. The voice continued with a chilling edge. Before the sun rises tomorrow morning, I'll return with the target's head. She ended the call, but a sense of unease lingered. Looking at a photo of Luang, a shiver ran through her. Why? Why does just looking at his picture fill me with such an inexplicable fear? She clutched the image, her mind racing. He's just a 20-year-old genius cultivator, right? So why on earth? Why do I feel like we're the ones being hunted down, as if targeted by the god of death? At the Eastern Provincial Command Post, an officer shouted, This is an SS rank mission. All Wolfang and Blade Elite teams head to coordination immediately. Such a big commotion. Do you know anything about this mission? Asked another officer. A third officer called out, 5, 7, 8 heavily armored troops. Prepare to be on standby at all times. Yes, sir, another officer responded. His friend said, I remember. There was a terrorist organization from Lion Nation called the Black Demon Society. Black Demon Society, he exclaimed. If it's them, this mission is very dangerous. How so? His friend asked. He explained, 3 years ago, they launched a terrorist attack on the Southern Military Division. I was part of the anti-terrorist team back then. Do you know how many people were dispatched? How many? His friend stammered. More than 500, he said. There were over 20 rank 7 cultivators and 5 were rank 8. Yet the key target that we had surrounded and suppressed managed to escape. That day was a true disgrace for the military. Ha, that's terrifying, his friend said. Even with such a high level of oppression, they couldn't catch the target. Just how strong is the Black Demon Society? They are monsters, he replied. Well then, gear up and get ready to move out. A few moments later, after arriving at the destination, he observed, he's already dead, even though he's dead. His aura is powerful. His blood has condensed. There's even a blood Dan. He must have been a top rank 8. There are only 1,000 like him in the world. One dying would be huge news. Fortunately, he doesn't look like a citizen of Dragon Nation. As I guessed, his friend said, he should be a member of the Black Demon Society. The Black Demon Society. Even though their men are powerful, there's no trace of pain or fear on his face, meaning he didn't even react before his death. He was split open in an instant. I can't even imagine such a death. Wait, look on his back. Darn it, I know this tattoo. He's one of the Black Demon Society members we failed to capture during the attack on the Southern Military Division 3 years ago. So, you're saying that someone was able to kill the guy who escaped from the grasp of 20 masters and 5 grandmasters by splitting him in 2 with a single strike? His friend asked, incredulously. Then why call us here after killing him? Maybe it's for us to clean things up, his friend suggested. At the Eastern Military Division command post, the commander said, good. If he wanted to kill me, it would probably take just one blow. My military division is finally going to produce a top-notch martial arts expert. Ha ha ha. In another scene, Luang looked at the tunnel and said, this will projection. Seems more powerful than I anticipated. Turns out I was actually wrong last time. Using this to simulate others' martial will is pointless. But if I simulate my own will, I can use my psychic power to construct a clone of my will outside my body. Although my physical body cannot move, my will clone can travel thousands of miles and return in an instant. What kind of skill is this? It's like martial arts magic. As for what it can do, too many things to count. It can handle inconvenient tasks for me, like flying, hiding underground, passing through walls, even entering the women's bathroom. Of course, it's also capable of killing Liang Su. No one would know I did it, and even if they did, it wouldn't matter. Liang Su has crossed the line. Even Madame Marshal Saint wouldn't bear the consequences. When the Supreme Marshal Saint realizes the cost of being hostile to me, and that those backing me surpass Liang Su's worth to him, Liang Su's so-called title of Madame Marshal Saint will be insignificant. I've read the life histories of both her and myself several times. Her death didn't cause much disturbance. I suspect she worked with the Black Demon Society to unleash the Saint's ruin, a move that should make the Marshal Saint extremely unhappy. Then he said, it's doable. He activated his skill and said, perception activation. Come. As he saw 2 figures at the other end of the tunnel, Luang said, I'm not sure how strong this will projection is, but these 2 from the Black Demon Society arrived at just the right moment. A powerful tornado began to form. Valefor said, it's almost time. The target's train will pass here soon. Amon added, let's finish this fast and return. Suddenly, he felt something nearby and, shocked and confused, said, such a strong sense of threat. Prepare for battle. Both of them transformed, using their skill, demon god form. Valefor was stunned when he saw Luang hovering over them. Wait, he's flying? Is this a G-god? What nonsense are you spouting? Amon exclaimed. Could this be a Martial Saint's clone? No, it's not a Martial Saint's clone. A Martial Saint's clone wouldn't be this weak. And from what I remember, none of the 3 Martial Saints of the Dragon Nation look like this young man. Amon said, so, what do you think that is? Luang looked down at them, asking, who are you to act so arrogantly here? He unleashed his aura, forming huge spectral hands that caught both Valefor and Amon, forcing them to the ground under his intense pressure. Valefor struggled, shouting, such strong oppression. Who are you? What kind of trick is this? Luang replied, how dare you speak back to me? I am the Night Watcher god. Valifor tried to raise his head, but Lu Sheng increased the pressure, slamming him back down. You dare not kneel, Lu Sheng sneered. It doesn't matter. You barbarians wouldn't understand my words anyway. Hurry up and die. Valifor resisted, shouting, No, get out of the way. The ground burst as he and Amon managed to dodge. Lu Sheng laughed. Don't be so arrogant, you rats. I'll call upon the immortals to kill you right here and now. In frustration, Valifor exclaimed, What on earth is this? A Halloween prank? Amon looked at Lu Sheng thoughtfully and said, The people of Dragon Nation don't typically celebrate Halloween, but I've heard of the Night Wandering God. It's a divine figure in dragon folklore. So, you think we're facing a folklore god of the Dragon Nation? Valifor asked, staring in disbelief at Lu Sheng hovering above them. There's no way something like that exists. This has to be fake. He turned to Amon. Let's go all out. Even if we can't win, we should be able to escape. Amon nodded. You're right, Valifor. We are among the 10 demon gods. If we join forces, we won't lose to some wannabe from Dragon Nation who isn't even a martial saint. The two of them unleashed their full power, shouting, Full power attack. Lu Sheng's expression turned serious as Amon cried, Die, you Dragon Nation imposter pretending to be a god. Go to hell. She unleashed her skill. Abyssal Inferno. Valifor charged forward, using his skill. Inferno charge. Lu Sheng sighed. Barbarians will be barbarians. Even your moves are ugly. Creating a wind so intense that it blew Valifor backward. Valifor, stunned, muttered, How? How is this possible? Amon's blaze can destroy demons, and he blew it away like it was nothing. Ah, psychic power? Valifor's eyes widened. Are you also a psychic master? No, Lu Sheng replied calmly. This is divine power. Valifor screamed in pain. Ah! Amon's face twisted in terror. This can't be impossible. Ew, I have to escape. He's a devil. She turned to run, but Lu Sheng suddenly appeared beside her. Don't be afraid, I'm no devil, he said with a quiet smile. Amon, sweating, stammered, Ah. Standing directly in front of her, Lu Sheng declared, I'll let you barbarians experience the chariot dismemberment execution. A few moments later, the bullet train sped along the tracks. Captain Guo Aiying of the Dongyi Provincial Military Division muttered, Where did the young master go? Why hasn't he returned yet? Could this be the end of my duties? Lu Sheng suddenly appeared beside her. What's wrong? He asked. Captain Guo Aiying jumped, exclaiming, Eek, sir, when did you return? I came back after I finished. Sewing, Lu Sheng said, holding up a small ball of hair. Captain Guo Aiying looked at him, puzzled. Sewing? Yes, Lu Sheng replied with a slight smile. Sewing? Outside, Valifor and Amon were tied to a post, thoroughly defeated. Valifor shouted to Amon, Ugh, what is this? I can't break free. Could this rope be fully made of mithril? Amon heard the approaching bullet trains and said, That aye. She realized that 2 trains were about to pass by them, leaving them tied up in the middle of the tracks. Lu Sheng looked on and said, It's about time. Begin the execution. He activated his skill, perception activation. Valifor gasped, This rope, it moved on its own? He watched as the rope wrapped itself tightly around both trains, linking them to Valifor and Amon. As the trains accelerated in opposite directions, Amon cried out in pain, Ack! Valifor and Amon were pulled closer together, both screaming in agony. Oh, no. With a sudden, brutal snap, something exploded. Lu Sheng murmured to himself, I suppose this could be considered a modern version of chariot dismemberment. A stern warning to the Lion Nation, those who offend me will face punishment. Captain Guo Aiying of the Dongyi Provincial Military Division turned to Lu Sheng and said, Reporting to the commander, I heard strange noises nearby. For safety, should I call a helicopter? It could take you directly to the capital province. Lu Sheng replied, No need. At the point where the 2 trains separated, 2 individuals have perished. Send someone to investigate. Captain Guo Aiying nodded. Understood, sir. In another scene, the blonde dude slumped to the ground in disbelief. What's going on? Master ranks 6 and 7. Their life signals disappeared at the same time. Images of Valifor and Amon appeared on a computer screen as a woman exclaimed, The 10 demon god pillars are revered like gods. Each controls a formidable beast body, and the Black Demon Society's world-shaking feats are due these masters. A blonde man, eyes wide with fear, added, And 3 of them have fallen in less than a day. Could the Dragon Nation have deployed a martial saint-level expert? The woman shook her head. It can't be a martial saint. None of the 3 martial saints have connections to this target, and the military doesn't have a martial saint-level expert. The only explanation is, we misjudged the target's strength. She leaned forward, her voice tense. He isn't admiral rank, he's of marshal rank. The blonde man broke into a cold sweat. A marshal-level warrior at only 20 years old? This is unbelievable. What do we do now, losing 3 of the top 10 demon gods? Even 10 times the mission's reward wouldn't cover this loss. Should we retreat to cut our losses? He asked. The woman replied, yes, we need to cut our losses, but not by retreating. We must complete the mission. If we, the Black Demon Society, are hunting him now, do you think he won't seek revenge once he matures? The blonde man asked. Then, should we contact the organization to request backup? No, the woman said firmly. We still have Lady Samajina. With her strength, she can definitely kill the target. But the organization didn't provide a way to contact Lady Samajina, he said hesitantly. The woman smiled slightly. That's because we don't need it. Lady Samajina has been with us all along. She knelt down and began to chant. Humbly invite the 4th demon god pillar, Lady Samajina, to descend. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain, and an arm began to emerge from her mouth. She screamed, ah! The blonde man recoiled in horror. Wah! Lady Samajina's head pushed its way out of the woman's mouth, and with a gasp, she leapt out, fully emerging. Standing naked in front of the blonde man, she turned to him and said, hey! Her voice was cold and commanding. Target, coordinates, give them to me. Luang wiped the blood from his hands and said, so you're Barbados. The Black Demon Society sure has a lot of people, but no matter how many small fish they throw at me, they're still just small fish. He picked up a headpiece from the body and examined it. If the Black Demon Society relies on this for communication, there must be a tracker in it. If I carry this with me, it should make it easy for them to find me. Then he spoke aloud as if taunting his enemies. If you're still not afraid of death, come quickly. After the sun rises tomorrow, I won't be in the mood to play with you anymore. He continued, reflecting on his plan. At my current pace, I can reach the capital in about 5 hours. If I go full speed, it'll only take me 2, faster than a plane. But this trip is about killing Lian Su. In case something changes, I need to be prepared. On the other hand, he thought, I need to wait for the Black Demon Society's people. If I go too fast, they might not keep up. And then there's Lian Su. Even though killing her won't have consequences, she's still the woman of the Supreme Martial Saint. I'll need to show some respect. It can't be too obvious. It shouldn't be clear at first glance that it's me. Yes, he mused, I'll just need a good alibi. When she dies, I'll make sure I'm somewhere else, causing a big enough scene. The bigger, the better. Luang dialed his phone and waited. He Lingsu answered. Luang? He replied. He Lingsu, when is Sir Chen's birthday event? Tomorrow night, she answered. Why? He chuckled. I'm just worried someone might bully you. At a family event like that, there's always some 2nd or 3rd generation fool who might try something. Isn't that how they write novels? You're like the perfect template for a romance novel protagonist, he teased. Lingsu hesitated, then replied, there's no need. I'm just a nobody in the Qin family. What you're talking about wouldn't happen. All right, Luang said, unconvinced. Send me the address. I'll be there tomorrow night to support you. That's all. He hung up before she could respond. Lingsu sighed, wondering, what's he trying to achieve? Meanwhile, Luang thought, the perfect plan. When the time comes, I'll kill Lian Su and then rush to the Chen family's birthday event to make a scene. Whether Lingsu needs this or not, it doesn't matter. With the status and power she's been given, she'll play along if necessary. No hesitation. Late at night, a boy and girl sat by their campfire, gazing up at the sky. It's so cold, the girl murmured, rubbing her hands together. Are you kidding me? There aren't even any stars tonight, so how could there be a meteor shower? How could that be? The boy asked. I checked the weather report. It said there'd be a once-in-a-millennium Pegasus meteor shower tonight. The girl laughed lightly. Ha ha, it's so cold. Maybe it's just too early, the boy said, glancing at her. Or maybe too cold outside. Why don't we warm up in the tent for a bit? He thought to himself, of course I lied about the meteor shower. How else could I get us a night alone? Ha ha, the girl sighed. Fine. But just then her eyes lit up. Oh, you didn't lie after all. There really is a shooting star, a golden shooting star. Quick, make a wish. The boy's eyes widened. Damn it, there really is a shooting star. And it's so big and bright. Suddenly, a crimson-red aura formed in the sky, and the stars collided in a massive blast. The boy fumbled with his telescope, adjusting it to get a better view. Huh? Can meteors even collide like that? This doesn't look right. What on earth is this? He squinted into the telescope. Wait, this isn't a shooting star. Damn it, it's a person. As the glowing object crashed to the ground, Lu Sheng muttered, "Never thought I'd get hit by something like this." From the sky, he looked up and saw a powerful tornado ahead. He focused, only to see Lady Samijina, her red eyes gleaming as she lunged at him. For a brief moment, Lu Sheng froze in shock. Multiple clones of Lu Sheng appeared, intercepting the many clones of Lady Samijina as they advanced. "Well," Lu Sheng said, "that's interesting. Your power isn't bad." He smirked as if savoring the challenge. For a rank 8 martial artist, the key to reaching rank 9 lies in fully fusing essence, chi, and spirit into one, connecting with heaven and earth and constructing a form with the universe's power. You're close, but you lack the final mark of the martial Tao. Lady Samijina's gaze was sharp. "No wonder so many have fallen to you. You're strong, very strong." Lu Sheng shrugged. "But if this is all you have, you may leave empty-handed tonight." Lady Samijina licked her full red lips, a playful but menacing glint in her eyes. "That little trick you use? Is that all you rely on? What a shame. You won't be speaking so carelessly soon. You should feel honored in the past 5 years." She paused, gathering energy in her palms. "You're the first to see my ultimate form. Are you ready for your death?" As she spoke, Lady Samijina's body began to transform, radiating an intense aura that altered the air around her. When her transformation completed, she sneered. "Or would you prefer to call it your inevitable demise?" Unfazed, Lu Sheng raised an eyebrow. "Oh, that's it?" Without warning, Lady Samijina dashed forward, her speed catching him off guard. "She's that fast," he thought, just before her foot connected with his stomach, sending him flying. While he was still mid-air, she followed up with a powerful smash, slamming him into the ground with such force that a massive crater formed beneath him. Hovering over the crater, Lady Samijina gathered dark energy, her expression cold and merciless. "Die, mortal," she said, releasing a beam of intense energy into the crater, engulfing Lu Sheng and tearing the ground apart with the force of her attack. Hovering above the devastation, she watched the smoke and debris settle. "It's over," she murmured, her lips curving in a triumphant smirk. But then, through the dissipating smoke, Lu Sheng's voice emerged, calm and unimpressed. "So your so-called strongest form just barely pushes the limits of a grandmaster? You haven't even glimpsed the realm beyond." Lady Samijina's eyes widened in shock. How are you unharmed from my strongest attack? Who are you?" Stepping out of the crater without a scratch, Lu Sheng's gaze was unyielding. "Me?" He smiled coldly. "I'm the one who's about to touch the peak." He clenched his fist, energy pulsating through him. "You hold no value to me now." He locked eyes with Lady Samijina, charging his fist with pure energy. "Die, woman." Lu Sheng's presence grew intense as he confronted Lady Samijina. "You have no value anymore," he declared coldly. Lady Samijina began to sweat, visibly trembling in fear. Suddenly, Lu Sheng's psychic hand clutched her throat. "Ah," she gasped in confusion. "Die, woman," Lu Sheng commanded, channeling his psychic energy. He lifted her off the ground, and as she struggled for air, bubbles foamed at her mouth. "It's time to say farewell to this world," he continued. "If you're lucky, maybe you'll travel through time." With a surge of energy, she exploded. Lu Sheng's earpiece crackled to life. "Sir, what are your orders?" "The coordinates are set. I'm done here. You can come and finish things," he replied. "Ah," the voice responded, slightly taken aback. "Yes, understood." As Lu Sheng moved forward, he muttered, "This ambush by the Black Demon Society has shown me the limits of my power. Even with my vitality and my 7 immortal cells, I've reached only 70 to 80 stars in combat power. Maybe 100 at my peak. But that's still far from the Martial Saint level. How far is it? I've only just entered the Grandmaster rank. My essence hasn't even begun refinement. I still have a long way to go. I'm still too weak." Meanwhile, at Lian Su's mansion, she yelled in frustration, "Failed? I paid so much. Took such a huge risk to find you, and now you're telling me that you failed." The old man in front of her broke into a sweat. "Please calm down. We deeply regret this outcome. No one wanted it. In fact, our losses were grave. Your mission cost us 4 powerful demon gods." "That's your problem," Lian Su snapped. "If you've suffered such losses, shouldn't you just kill that guy once and for all? I can't believe the Black Demon Society can't handle one person at rank 8. "It is possible," he admitted. "If one of the top demon gods acts, it could be resolved easily." "Then why aren't they acting?" she demanded. "Because it would cost you 20 times more," he replied. 20 times more? Lian Su exclaimed in shock. Yes. If one of our top 3 demon gods entered Dragon Country, it would stir an international incident. It might even attract the attention of the 3 martial saints there. He rubbed his face, stress deepening the lines and warts on his skin. There's too much at stake. After all, the Black Demon Society is an assassination group. I'm only helping because of your backer. Lian Su hurled her tablet across the room. Get out, all of you. You're all egoists. Madam, this operation cost us greatly, so we'll need subsequent compensation. Expect an email with the specifics in 2 days. Bastards, you want me to pay for your failures? Is this what the world's strongest is? She stomped on her tablet. For revenge, I almost hit rock bottom. And this is the result? We even sent Tong Quixing. If he'd killed the whole family, it would have been perfect. But that little brat survived, killed Tong Quixing, got the military involved, and even he intervened. Lian Su threw herself onto her bed, her frustration spilling over as she cried. He warned me to let it go, but I can't. Why is nothing going my way? He's just one small character in this world. I can't accept it. I just can't. Outside, a maid whispered to her companion. Madam finally fell asleep after exhausting herself with anger. It's been like this lately. She'll be fine after venting and resting. Her friend nodded. Prepare a few more meals for her so there's always hot food ready when she wakes. Understood. Late in the evening, Lian Su was fast asleep when she suddenly heard a faint whisper. Sister, sister. Startled, she sat up. Who's there? It's me, Lian Jibei's voice echoed, and as her eyes adjusted, she saw his burned, disfigured face. She gasped. You're Lian Jibei? Her brother's charred form seemed to tremble. Sister, I died. It was so miserable. As he spoke, his body broke into pieces. Ah! Lian Su screamed and suddenly jolted awake, panting. Sha! So it was just a nightmare. She looked around in the dim light, murmuring, I dreamed of Lian Jibei, a ghost. Has he come because I failed to avenge him? Even in death, he can't rest. My throat, it's so dry, she muttered. Someone, I need water. A maid entered with a glass. Madam, here's some water. Yes. Lian Su took a long drink but immediately grimaced. Ugh, what kind of water is this? She glanced down at the glass and suddenly saw an eye staring up at her. With a scream, she threw the glass across the room. Ah! A figure appeared before her, and she recognized her nephew. Aunt Su, he said coldly. Does my blood taste nice? Lian Su froze in terror, unable to speak, before collapsing, fainting from fear. Drooling unconsciously on her bed, she remained unaware that Lu Shang observed her from a distance. It's simple to use psychic illusions on a rank 6 woman who's mentally unstable, Lu Sheng mused. In this endless nightmare, she'll be trapped in terror and despair until her mind breaks. This is the most secretive, least traceable way for her to die. I feel no pity for someone who repeatedly tried to harm me and even kill my family. He continued, Cruel? Perhaps. But I'm no saint. I'm just someone with a sense of justice and clarity. As he spoke, he sensed a dark, looming presence approaching. He stiffened. Only a martial saint could make me feel such danger. I nearly forgot that while I can foresee threats, a rank 9 martial saint would have similar abilities. If I continued tormenting her, I risk drawing the Jidao martial saint's attention. I'd better end this quietly. He focused his energy, choking her with a psychic force until she passed away in silence. Moments later, the maid whispered, Speak softly. The madam must still be asleep. But as the maids entered, they froze, gasping in horror as the glass of milk slipped from their grasp and shattered. No, the madam, she's dead. In another part of the city, at the Chen family manor in the capital province, guests gathered for Mr. Chen's birthday celebration. Wow, a martial master is attending Mr. Chen's birthday. What an honor, a young lady exclaimed. Don't you know? Her friend replied. Mr. Chen himself is a master and has many powerful connections. Some of his close friends are even rank 8 experts in the military. Rank 8? I've never seen someone that strong in person, another young woman murmured. This is our chance, sisters, one of them whispered excitedly. If we catch the eye of someone important, we'll hit the jackpot. Nearby, Lingsu observed the commotion. So this is what high society looks like, she said quietly as she walked along the red carpet. A man approached her. Lingsu, this must be your first time attending something like this. You'll get used to it soon. Come on, let's go in together. Lingsu shook her head. Thank you, Brother Yi, but I'm waiting for a friend. I'll join you later. Brother Yi looked surprised. You have a friend in the capital? I'll have to meet them later. As he entered the manor, He Lingsu sighed. The Chen family has been very welcoming to me, and Shenyi has taken care of me well. But it feels like... A familiar voice interrupted her. It feels like he has ulterior motives? She turned, and a smile of relief crossed her face. Lu Shang! You came, Lu Sheng nodded. I promised I'd be here to support you. I keep my word. He thought to himself, the distance from Liansu's manor to the Chen family's estate is over 1,000 kilometers. But I made it here in 5 minutes, 10 times the speed of sound. This projection technique is quite useful. He Lingsu looked concerned. You don't have to play the hero, Lu Sheng. This isn't some dramatic novel plot. Honestly, the Chen family has been kind. Though it's unfamiliar, they're trying to accept me. Lu Sheng narrowed his eyes. They're not trying to accept you. They're interested in your wealth. He Lingsu sighed. You always have to pay a price. Lu Sheng glanced at her thoughtfully. I thought He Lingsu was the type to fight to the end. I didn't expect her to compromise. Given the environment she grew up in, maybe she clings to this fake family affection to fill some void in her heart. I don't fully understand it, but whether I support it or not is another matter. It doesn't matter, Lu Sheng said firmly. Tonight, I'll make the best choice for you. What do you mean? And hey, what are you looking at? She asked, noticing his gaze. Blushing, she crossed her arms in front of her chest. He looked around, his eyes narrowing on a figure in the distance. I'm looking at one particularly shiny, unfortunate soul. He Lingsu looked puzzled, glancing over at the commotion too. Who are you talking about? Just then a man announced, Mr. Zhou is here. Welcome, welcome right this way, please. He Lingsu whispered, That's Zhou Yuman, the second master of the Zhou family. His family is one of the most powerful in the capital's suburbs. Their influence even surpasses the Chen family's. She paused before adding, But that guy isn't as impressive as he seems. He's just a playboy, while his older brother, Zhou Jilin, is. Lu Sheng interrupted, raising an eyebrow. Our Chen family? He Lingsu looked at him, taken aback by his interest in her words. Suddenly, Lu Sheng took her smooth hand, his grip firm. You're tangled up with these wild people. They're only hindering your path to becoming stronger. He Lingsu blinked, unsure. What? What do you mean? Without answering, Lu Sheng walked towards the commotion surrounding Zhou Yuman. People were calling out to him. Mr. Zhou, look here. Mr. Zhou, I'm with He Real Estate Development. Scram, get out of my way. Zhou Yuman snapped impatiently. Lu Sheng stood directly in front of him, blocking his path. I said, move aside. Zhou Yuman, who was used to his own commanding presence, felt an unexpected shock as he collided with Lu Sheng's hard chest. He froze for a moment, surprised. Who is this guy? Zhou Yuman thought. His presence, his figure, appearance, personality. There's something about him that feels oppressive. Zhou Yuman instinctively retreated, hiding behind his woman. Who are you? Lu Sheng's gaze shifted toward a sleek car nearby. Is that your car? Zhou Yuman raised an eyebrow, a little confused. What about it? Lu Sheng glanced back at him with a smile. It's a nice car, really cool. How much did it cost? Zhou Yuman, still looking down at him, thought, So, he's just another country bumpkin who's interested in my new car. Smirking, he replied, It's over 80 million, of course, a limited edition. There's only one like it in the whole of Dragon Country. 80 million? Lu Sheng raised his eyebrows in exaggerated shock. Wow. Zhou Yuman chuckled to himself. What a fool. He's totally a bumpkin. Lu Sheng ran a hand over the Ferrari's sleek exterior. It's a good car, he said, his voice tinged with something darker. But I'm afraid I'm in a bad mood. In an instant, he released a burst of energy. The Ferrari crumpled under the pressure, flattening with an audible crack. The value of the car gone in an instant. Zhou Yuman froze, his face turning pale as he stared in horror at his now ruined car. Ah, my car! Lu Sheng, looking entirely unaffected, sighed. Well, now I feel much better. Enraged, Zhou Yuman grabbed Lu Sheng by the back, his voice trembling. Brother, what's this? Are you looking for trouble? Lu Sheng's towering figure loomed over him. Zhou Yuman felt as though he were a child in comparison. Who's your brother? Lu Sheng's voice was cold, unyielding. I'm Lu Sheng, friend of He Lingsu from the Chen family. If you've got a problem, feel free to come to me anytime. He pointed toward He Lingsu, who stood nearby, clearly shocked by the events unfolding. And this is He Lingsu. People in the crowd began murmuring. Who's that? There must be someone important. He Lingsu blinked, confused, her voice barely above a whisper. Me? Young Master Zhou shouted in anger, shock, and frustration. Ah, He Lingsu said. Ah, Thies. Lu Sheng slapped his own hand and said, I can't help but envy young Master Zhou. Sorry. As young Master Zhou cried out while picking up the small pieces of his Ferrari from the ground, he shouted, Ah, he sobbed. Snot dripping from his nose, looked at He Lingsu and said, He Lingsu of the Chen family, right? And you, Lu Sheng, I will remember you. He Lingsu, confused, asked, Me? What did I do? What does this have to do with me? Suddenly, Lu Sheng placed a hand on He Lingsu's back and said with confidence, Let's go. Ignore him. He Lingsu walked with Lu Sheng and sighed. An old man with a mustache remarked, Who are these two? How dare they challenge the second young master of the Zhou family? Truly, this is so amazing you can't get enough of it. A few moments later, inside, He Lingsu pushed Lu Sheng away and said, What on earth are you doing? You just smashed someone's car. You even gave them my name for no reason. Isn't that unfair? Lu Sheng shrugged and said, It's nothing. I just wanted to help you out. He Lingsu replied, Help me out. You do that to help me? What's the reason? At least give me a reason. Lu Sheng looked away and thought, A reason? He thought of young Master Zhou grabbing He Lingsu while she cried, and he chuckled. Little lady. Lu Sheng continued, Well, yes, that guy, he's not a good person. He's a playboy. You'll dress so well today that you'll attract his attention, and he'll have some wicked thoughts. Then he'll do whatever it takes to get you. He gently held He Lingsu's head and said, It's written like that in the novels. I'm just taking precautions and nipping the problem in the bud. No need to thank me, He Lingsu said. You. Good. Good. Great job. What can I say? As she gave Lu Sheng a thumbs up. A few moments later, a very long dining table was prepared, and the banquet was about to begin. Guests came in one after another. Young Master Zhou silently stared at Lu Sheng. Big Brother Yi, while looking at Lu Sheng and He Lingsu, hummed and said, Oh, over there. He approached them and said, Lingsu, won't you introduce me to your friend? He smashed someone's car as soon as he showed up. Then he blamed our Chen family. He must be very strong. He Lingsu said, Big Brother Yi. Lu Sheng said, Hey, this guy talks very funny, if I heard that right. Lu Sheng turned to Big Brother Yi and said, You seem to be implying something about me? Big Brother Yi was shocked and stammered, Ah, that is. What's going on? He felt a chill run down his spine and said in fear, I'm a rank 6 martial artist. How come I can't even look at him? It's like the abyss. He asked Lu Sheng, Are you the top student of the 7th St. Martial University, the rare martial arts genius who has the potential to become a master? Big Brother Yi continued, Ha, and you treat me like this? Our Chen family has connections with a rank 8 martial artist. You'll regret what you did today, remember that. With that, he fled, tail between his legs. Suddenly, he stopped and asked himself, Oh, why can't I run anymore? I can't move. What's going on here? Lu Sheng activated his psychic powers and lifted Big Brother Yi up. Did I let you go? He asked. Big Brother Yi pleaded, Stop, Lingsu, save me. Lu Sheng asked, I asked you, why are you implying something? Are you talking nonsense? He Lingsu shouted, Lu Sheng, stop causing trouble. Put him down now. Don't make it worse. Lu Sheng sighed, Fine. As he played with Big Brother Yi, He Lingsu said, Where are you throwing him? That's the banquet hall. No. Big Brother Yi crashed into the banquet hall with a loud slam. The crowd reacted with shock. A man exclaimed, What's that flying thing? A woman shouted, A person. He Lingsu muttered, It's over. It's all over. Everything I've worked so hard for all these years is now gone. Suddenly, young Master Zhou arrived, and someone shouted, Move away, young Master Zhou is coming. Young Master Zhou appeared with an aggressive entourage. His security team arranged to make their numbers appear even larger. He pointed at Lu Sheng and said, It's him. Some of his security became bald in the process. Young Master Zhou sneered, Such an ignorant young man. Do you really think you're someone important just because you won first place in a national martial arts conference and have a little bit of talent? I was just a little startled by you just now. Get ready to die, little punk. He grinned to himself, licking his lips. And you, my little beauty, just wait to see what happens after I deal with that fool. He continued in his mind, a daughter of a different surname in the Chen family. If the Chen family didn't intend to take over her property, this bastard wouldn't even be able to attend the banquet. Suddenly, Miss Chen shouted, Lingsu, where did you find such a friend? Why don't you kick him out? Do you still want to return to the Chen family? Get him out. She grabbed He Lingsu's wrist and said, Come, go back with me. We'll find young Master Zhou later and apologize to clear up this misunderstanding. He Lingsu said. Lu Sheng interjected. What do you think? I was right, wasn't I? It's just like what's written in the novels. You're the perfect heroine. Now that it has come to this, you'll become the target of public criticism, targeted and suppressed by everyone. Eventually, someone will rob you blind. Miss Chen snapped. Shut up, you bastard. Lu Sheng shrugged. It's fine, he said as He Lingsu vanished from Miss Chen's grasp. You have me, He Lingsu said. What are you doing? This is all happening because of you. Miss Chen demanded. He Lingsu, listen to me. Cut your connection with him now. Come here obediently and promise what I asked for before. The family will protect you and forgive this mistake. He Lingsu looked back at Lu Sheng and, after a pause, said, I'm sorry, Miss Chen. I'm afraid I can't agree to the conditions you proposed. Miss Chen sneered. You disgraceful girl. Catch them for me. Lu Sheng grinned. Don't worry. You won't regret making this decision. Next comes the most exciting part. It's time to slap them in the face. As Lu Sheng pulled He Lingsu close, pressing her body against his abs and chest. Thank you so much for watching. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help me grow my channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Let's keep the conversation going and get those analytics buzzing. Until next time, take care.